In the past, on a soccer field at night, snow is falling around the field. Two people are talking, but we already know who they are. Itoshi Sai and Itoshi Rin. Sai tells Rin that if he wins, Rin's dreams will end. Upon hearing Sai's proposal, Rin expresses his concern, saying that he doesn't want that, because he doesn't want to play like this. Itoshi Sai doesn't care about the words his brother said and tells him to get ready. Sai begins to move toward Rin, surrounded by an aura that envelops him completely. He tells his brother that it's a one-shot duel. Sai dribbles the ball, but Rin can't predict his movements. Sai advances and leaves Rin behind. However, Rin starts to follow him and manages to block his shot at the goal, or so he thought, as Sai simply takes a breath and effortlessly leaves Rin behind once again. Rin cannot catch up to his brother. He is too far away and wonders why Sai is doing this. Before Sai shoots at the goal, he asks Rin what he has been doing for the 4 years that he was absent. Sai takes the shot, and Rin has a confused look on his face. Afterwards, we see a toy resembling a dinosaur falling. This toy will make sense as we progress through the story. After all this, we return to the present. We are at the Blue Lock project. Jinpachi Ego is reading the information about Itoshi Rin, who is ranked in Blue Lock. Rin is 16 years old, a first-year high school student. His height is 186 centimeters. His dominant leg is the right one. Ego receives a call from the Japanese Football Union. The man tells Ego that he is grateful. Thanks to Itoshi Sai's interest in Blue Lock, the press is going wild, and the tickets have sold out. A big match generates a lot of money, which will help cover Ego's deficit. Ego asks the man if he has finished speaking. Upon hearing what Ego said, the man asks if he thinks that a disconnected group of strikers can defeat the U-20 national team. Ego simply smiles and tells him that Blue Lock exists to transform Japanese football. We are at the third selection, where all the strikers, including our protagonist Isagi Yoichi, are present. Ego tells his rough diamonds that out of 300 young strikers in the country, they have passed the tough test. The remaining 35 will compete to become the #1 egoist in the world. The match will take place in 3 weeks. Their opponent will be the U-20 Japan national team, captained by Sai Itoshi. If they win, they will earn the right to represent Japan. But if they lose, it will be the end of Blue Lock. Isagi was a complete unknown until a few months ago. He was chosen to come to Blue Lock, learned more about Ego, and went through hell to get here. If he wins, he could represent Japan. But if they lose, his career as a footballer will fade away along with Blue Lock. This match against the U-20 is where he can completely change his life thanks to his qualities. Raichi, angry, tells Ego that he already knows this is his opportunity, but he asks how they will form the team since they are all strikers. Gagamaru also asks Ego if he plans to include some midfielders and defenders. Ego responds that yes, they have no choice but to play with an improvised team. Tokumitsu says that this is crazy. They will be facing real defenses. But Aryu, upon hearing this, says that he doesn't dislike this problem so much. Raichi tells him that this is not the time to be picky, but Ego tells them to shut up. Ego is going to announce the 6 names that will be part of the core of the team. The 6 best in Blue Lock, based on a thorough evaluation. The #1 is Itoshi Rin. Isagi expected Rin to be #1. The #2 is Ryusei Shido. Igarashi didn't know Shido was this good. Shido approaches Rin and tells him it's exciting that he is #2 and Rin is #1. The #3 is Tabito Karasu. #4 is Eita Otoya. #5 is Kenyu Yukimiya. Yukimiya says it's an honor. Only one more is left. Isagi wants to be part of the core players of the team that Ego is forming. The #6 is Sei Shironagi. Isagi is angry because he couldn't make it into the top 6. Yukimiya asks Ego why he is in 5th place. What is the difference between him and the first? Ego replies that it's simple. Of the 35 remaining, the only ones who scored against the World Quintet were Itoshi Rin and Ryusei Shido. The rest are based on the goals from the first test and evaluations against the World Quintet. And finally, his arbitrary decision. Ego asks if he is satisfied, calling him Mr. Elegant Model with glasses. Yes, Yukimiya is a model. Now the next selection begins. Those 6 will be divided into 3 teams grouped by ranking: Team A, Team B, and Team C. The other 29 players must decide whom to team up with. They will form teams of 5 by adding 3 players to those pairs. Each team will play a match of 5 players. Isagi understands what Ego means. He is looking for players that fit with the styles of the 6 best, excluding the 6 best. the 29 players will only have one chance to play. These tests determine who will play against the U20, so they have to prove their worth in a single match. But there's something else. One of them will play 2 matches. That will be the number 7, the finalist, Meguru Bachira. These guys have been playing alongside Isagi, and all of them are better than him. The 6 best go to a different room. This ranking only reflects their current position. Even the 6 best can fall if they don't perform well in the tests. Since the 6 best are not present, Ego has a message for the remaining 29. The key to passing the tests is reclamation and coexistence. Against the 6 best, their skill and goal-scoring ability must be reclaimed and coexisted with to be irreplaceable. And finally, they must dominate them. For the 29 players, the 6 best are not friends to play with. They are steps. They must step over them. For Isagi to play in that match that will lead to his desired future, he must enter the team. It's time for them to choose, to select their optimal companions that will determine their future. We are in the cafeteria, where some of Team Z are present. Igaguri is eating like a king. He is very happy because he can finally enjoy a buffet. Raichi says that Team Z couldn't gather together. They feel embarrassed that Naruhaya, the traitor Kuon, the womanizer Imamura, Lemon the goalkeeper, and Kunigami aren't there. Bachira didn't expect Kunigami to be eliminated because he was very good. Igarashi says it was Shido who took Kunigami out of Blue Lock. Chigiri agrees, saying that's how Blue Lock is. If they lose against the U20, everything will disappear. They can't be worrying about others. Raichi asks if they have already decided with whom they will partner up. Igarashi will go to Team A since he teamed up with Shido. Gagamaru is deciding between Team B or C. Bachira will decide by drawing lots. Besides, he can play 2 matches. It seems that the one who had the most success from the old Team Z was Bachira. Chigiri still hasn't made up his mind. Bachira tells Isagi that he will be in either Team A or C, Rin or Nagi. If Isagi wants a chemical reaction with his weapon, Team C will let him combine with Nagi. But if he wants to take a risk with a potential he hasn't unlocked yet, he will go to Team A with Rin. We are in the VIP room, where the 6 best players are gathered. Yukimiya tells Nagi, who is excited, that he is curious about who they will form a team with. Then Shido enters and greets them. He tells the number 1 to get along. Shido tells Rin not to ignore him, since they are now teammates. Afterwards, he asks Rin if he likes explosions. Rin responds that he's not interested, and tells him to get lost, calling him spiky hair. These words anger Shido, who kicks at Rin, but Rin dodges, and they start to fight. Karasu tells Otoya and Yukimiya not to stop them, as it will benefit them if they eliminate each other. Rin tells Shido that if he interferes with his style, he will beat him up. Shido replies that he hasn't come here just to play football. It's a biological necessity. Ego interrupts them and tells them to calm down. Ego tells them they are the elite of Blue Lock. Each duo represents the best pairing of strikers he can think of for playing with an experimental, super offensive style. They have to create new patterns of attack that they cannot create alone. They need to think of each other as tools to become the best in the world. And they must not let anyone take their place for anything in the world. They are at the top of Blue Lock. They must not forget that the football they create will be the sword that destroys Japanese football. Ego wants to see how they challenge each other. Isagi is still struggling. Coexistence is about his chemical reactions with the 6 best, and reclamation is about not letting them walk all over him. He has to figure out what that means, and show results in a single match. This selection still doesn't understand it. Baro was also in the bathroom. He tells Isagi that he is pathetic for doubting himself. Baro will go wherever, just not Team C with Mr. Annoying. Playing with a familiar face won't help him grow, and wherever he goes, he will be alone. He will be the king, that's all. Isagi tells him that what Baro said was great. Baro asks why he is not among the 6 best. This annoys him since Isagi is the person he wants to crush. He warns him not to let himself be crushed here, calling him incompetent. Isagi agrees and apologizes. Nico is also in the bathroom, and neither he nor Isagi have chosen a team yet. Although Ego wants to measure their competitive spirit, he actually believes he is testing them to see how they fit in with the best. Nico will choose anyone who allows him to continue with his style. He is tired of being a supporting player. Isagi taught him that the role of the protagonist is stolen, and, by the way, Isagi has to leave because Nico doesn't like being seen washing his forehead. Isagi has no idea how that could embarrass him. But well, let's move on. Isagi is sitting in a room, knowing it won't be easy to prove his worth on a team with Rin. He might get overshadowed and be unable to do anything. Therefore, he should team up with Nagi. Reo is in the room and tells Isagi that it's not easy to decide. Reo feels the same way. Apparently Reo will not go to the team with Nagi. Well, that was his plan, but now he's having doubts about it, since Nagi chose Isagi instead of Reo in the second selection. His desire for revenge against Nagi has brought him this far, but comparing himself objectively with his current level, and seeing Nagi reach the 6th best, it seems Nagi is in a place he can't reach, and he lacks the confidence to play with him. But if he wastes this opportunity, it might not come again. If he teaches Nagi how poorly he performs, Nagi might drift even further away. He doesn't know what to do. Isagi feels the same. If they don't play together now, Nagi might become someone unattainable. It's a regret he doesn't want to bear. Isagi thanks Reo, as he was able to make a decision thanks to him. Surely it's not really about what is right. What matters is the determination to make the decision the right one. He will prove that the path he chose is not a mistake. The next day, we will finally see teams A, B, and C. The last task before the match against the U-20 is about to begin, the test that will determine who enters the Blue Lock 11. The team Isagi chose is Team A, and the person he wants to have close is Rin. Bachira also chose Team A. Baru, Raichi, Nico, and Chigiri are on the same team. In Nagi's team are Zantetsu, Gagamaru, and Reo. In the end, Reo decided to go with Nagi. It is vital that Isagi fits in well and demonstrates that he is ready for this. And after this battle, the match against the U-20 of Japan will come. Isagi will prove that he will be the best striker in the world. After this, we see the special advisor from the Japanese Football Union, Baratsuta Hiroshi, and the manager of the U-20, Hoichi Seiji. Hiroshi tells the manager that he must not allow unknowns to take over Japanese football. The manager responds not to worry, as Blue Lock is nothing but idealists. The U-20 selection is under his control. Hiroshi laughs and tells the captain of the U-20 that he trusts him. The captain nods, assuring that the U-20 will face Blue Lock. The moment of truth has arrived. Isagi Yoichi has made a crucial decision to join Team A. But is he prepared for what lies ahead? The confrontation with Team B is not just another match. It is the ultimate test that will determine his fate. Who will be his ally in this battle? Who will stand in his way? In this game, losers are left in obscurity, and winners finally cease to be nobody. A total of 5 matches will be played. There will be intervals of 6 hours between matches. To ensure fairness, they are prohibited from watching other matches. First match, A against B. They will announce 3 members at random. First, from Team A, Nijiro Nanase. The second is Yo Hiyori, and the third is Yoichi Isagi. Isagi, visibly nervous, wonders if he will really play in the first match. Now they will announce 3 players from Team B. Upon seeing this, Isagi wonders who he will have to face. The first is Kyohei Shiguma. The second is Kairi Saramadara. Raichi, with a look of disappointment, comments that those 2 players seem dominant. I agree with Gagamaru that one of them is like a golem, and the other, a predator. And finally, the third is Hyoma Chigiri. Isagi says that facing Chigiri will be uncomfortable since they know each other very well. The players from both teams will have to put on their vests and enter the field. Before entering, Isagi thinks about focusing on standing out within the team. In these trials, even teammates are rivals. Nanase says he's on fire. Isagi doesn't understand what he means, and Nanase clarifies that if they shine here, they will play against the sub-20. Finally, the moment has arrived. Isagi still doesn't understand, so Nanase apologizes, explaining that, instead, the word "on fire" is an expression used when someone is very excited. Nanase is a first-year student, while Isagi Yoichi is a second year, so Nanase considers Isagi as his senior. He feels excited about the opportunity to play alongside him. Hiyori joins the conversation, commenting that he is also a second year, and that it's a pleasure to meet them. Isagi asks if that accent is from Kansai, to which Hiyori responds that yes, he's from Kyoto. Nanase mentions that people there are very gentle. Isagi asks if he meant that they are elegant. Hiyori thinks Nanase is funny, and the 3 begin to laugh. Isagi wonders what this feeling of unity is. It's something new for him, as he remembers the players he has played with so far. They have been very wild. But it's not just Isagi who feels this way. Hiyori and Nanase do as well. They feel more at ease talking among themselves, creating a benevolent atmosphere. Nanase says that from now on, they will play without grudges. Hiyori accurately points out that they are playing for their lives in this match. Isagi asserts that the 3 of them must give their all with what they have learned so far. Isagi, Hiyori, and Nanase enter the field. Shido, with his usual smile, says that the week passes passers have arrived. Rin wonders what Isagi is doing here. Hiyori asks Isagi if they know each other, and he responds that yes, they were teammates. Nanase greets Rin, but he ignores the greeting. Isagi tells Nanase not to mind him, as Rin is like that. Meanwhile, we see Team B. Karasu orders the 3 passers to take care of the defense. Otoya says that it's true. That has already been decided. A player named Saramadara Kairu says that it will depend on how the waves come. Isagi remembers that the key to overcoming the trial is reclamation and coexistence. Isagi thinks that giving it his all in this match is an indispensable condition. The first team to score 5 goals will emerge victorious. In an exciting clash of 5 against 5, the first confrontation of Team A against Team B begins. With a challenging smile, Shido declares that it's time to explode, but Rin, unfazed, responds by telling him to shut up, calling him pink antennas, and urges him to keep up. The match begins, and Isagi, fully concentrated, analyzes that the most essential thing is to shine on the field. His first challenge will be to face the dazzling offensives of Rin and Shido. Advancing with the ball, Shido feels unstoppable, but Otoya, with determination, stops his advance, stating that he needs permission to pass. Shido replies that he is too fast. Isagi observes closely. Otoya has reacted to Shido's aggressive control, and together with Kairu, they manage to block his coverage. In that moment, Isagi knows that his duty is to provide support to his team. Isagi asks Shido to pass him the ball, and Shido, with a confident smile, calls him a very observant rookie. Upon receiving the pass, Isagi feels the pressure of the moment. He cannot afford to make a mistake. His mind sharpens, manifesting with determination what he is capable of. With a quick and precise play, he passes the ball to Rin, determined to show his true potential by leveraging his teammate's skill. It is the beginning of a play that could change the course of the match. Rin advances, looking for the distance and the moment he prefers. Rin and Isagi pass the ball to free themselves from the defensive marks. Isagi thinks that if he coexists with Rin, this first time they won't be able to stop them. In the last line, Isagi sends the final pass to Rin, but Chigiri intercepts the pass and tells Isagi that it's obvious what he's thinking. Isagi reflects that despite making that play, they won't let him get away easily. The ball falls from above, and Kairu tries to cut that wave, clearing the ball from the area. However, Shido takes a step forward, getting away from the defenders. With eyes thirsting for victory, he exclaims that the ball is his. Isagi, confused, wonders what Shido is doing on his side of the field. But even if he manages to catch the rebound, the pressure from the defense will surround him, and he can anticipate what will happen. Isagi decides to coordinate with Shido. If Shido holds the ball and passes it to him, he will be in the perfect place to take advantage of the play. Shido lifts the ball, and his eyes transform into vertical pupils, like those of a predator. The atmosphere becomes charged with tension, a palpable sense of danger. Shido rises into the air and makes a precise strike with his heel, sending the ball into the back of the net. Goal for Team A. The score is now 1-0. Isagi cannot believe what he has just witnessed. He wonders how Shido could score in that way. With a challenging smile, Shido says that all his cells are focused on the sole mission of scoring goals. Isagi realizes that this superhuman physique is the same one that sank Kunigami. This is how the number 2, Ryusei Shido, plays. Karasu observes analytically. Regarding defense and play creation, he knows that Shido is second-rate, but his body is made for scoring goals. Now aware of the capabilities of the one with the antennas, Karasu prepares to maximize his talent. The match resumes. It's Team B's turn. Isagi feels that he still hasn't had the opportunity to shine, and aims to steal the ball to try again. Karasu controls the sphere, looking for whom to pass to. Isagi notices that the ball is a bit away from Karasu's body and sees an opportunity to intercept it. However, Karasu skillfully moves the ball, leaving Isagi completely out of position. Frustrated, Isagi thinks that Karasu provoked him on purpose. Karasu, unfazed, calls him fool, and tells him that he only plays when victory is assured. I go for the weak points, not the strong ones. That gives me better odds. That's the golden rule in any competition. Karasu targets Isagi, declaring him the weak point of Team A. Synergy with special players can make you stand out, but by yourself, you are nothing but mediocre. Karasu is determined to crush Team A, starting with Isagi. Shido approaches Isagi and Karasu, asking if he can join the conversation. Karasu, with a mocking smile, replies that if they don't stop him, he will open the wound even further. Isagi thinks that the two of them could steal the ball. Without wasting any time, Karasu begins to dribble masterfully, feinting in a way that puts Shido and Isagi on edge. Isagi, observing Karasu's skill, realizes that he has forced them to move their center of gravity. He is the true king of feints. This is how the number 3, Tabito Karasu, plays. With a nimble movement, Karasu leaves Isagi and Shido behind, shoots, and scores for Team B, equalizing the score to 1. Karasu doesn't miss the chance to taunt, calling Isagi a clown, and promising to hit him where it hurts the most until he becomes lethal. Isagi, feeling the weight of those words, acknowledges that Karasu is a truly dangerous rival. Shido praises Karasu, acknowledging that he made a brilliant play. Hiyori, impressed, nicknames him Tabito Karasu, the assassin. He explains that if Karasu identifies a weak point in his opponent thanks to his analytical ability, he won't stop until he completely shatters that player. He tells Isagi that he is in Karasu's crosshairs. Isagi tells Hiyori that he knows him very well. Hiyori responds that yes, as they played on the same youth team. Hiyori can only tell Isagi one thing: he will attack his weak point, so he has to play to his strengths. Isagi thinks that Hiyori is right. Isagi cannot overcome a weak point in a match. He wonders what he can excel at. Spatial awareness, off-the-ball plays, the direct shot. He has to take a risk with that. Shido observes with interest and says that this is getting exciting. Rin, however, is skeptical. The game resumes, and Shido encourages Isagi to try again. Isagi receives a pass from Shido and formulates a plan. He and Rin will displace Team B, allowing Shido to score. Just as he expected, Karasu lunges toward him, closing in quickly and running alongside him, blocking all his passing options. Isagi is forced to push a path toward Rin, but Karasu completely blocks his vision. Using his body, he interferes with ball control. Karasu tells Isagi that he is mediocre in one-on-one duels, to which Isagi responds that this isn't the first time something like this has happened to him. Karasu calculates the distance to his opponent and blocks each of his movements. The essence of his game lies in controlling space with precision. Meanwhile, Karasu warns Isagi that he is hurting his team. Along with Nanase and Shido, Isagi tries to mark Karasu, but he notices some stealthy footsteps, like those of a ninja. Otoya moves cleverly behind Hiyori and Rin, positioning himself for a pass from Karasu. Hiyori, noticing the movement, warns Rin, but it's already too late. Rin wonders since when he got behind him. Hiyori deduces that Karasu lured them in with his ball, and that Otoya is going to score from his shadow. They nickname him the Ninja, the shadowy striker. That's how the number 4, Otoya, plays. With a precise shot, he manages to score a goal, bringing the score to 1-2. Hiyori exclaims that Otoya definitely descends from ninjas, while Shido comments that he has incredible skill. Karasu calls Otoya a clown, telling him that he arrived a second late, while Otoya tells him to shut up. He tells Karasu that he has to join his movements. These two are devastating together. Hiyori tells Isagi that since they won the second selection together, they must be among the best duos in Blue Lock. Rin passes the ball to Hiyori, and together they execute a wall pass, replicating the brilliant strategy that Rin had performed earlier with Isagi. Hiyori showcases his skill with some spectacular passes. Although Otoya manages to block the genius's brother's shot, there's more at stake. Shido, eager, asks Rin to pass him the ball, but Chigiri rushes in to block that option. However, Rin is alert and sees beyond the play. In the goal, he discovers an opening. Without hesitation, he shoots with precision and scores a goal. The score is now 2-2. Everyone is stunned, not understanding how it happened. Isagi reflects, recognizing that Rin had used Shido's movement to kick at the moment when the goalkeeper couldn't see him. It was a blind shot, a masterful play that surprised everyone. Karasu says that Rin Itoshi is on another level. Isagi takes this badly, as he isn't even part of the match. Karasu neutralizes him if he is alone, and Rin and Shido can score goals without Isagi. With this pass, they will finish the match without Isagi doing anything. Isagi wonders how he can leave his mark on this match. Chigiri thinks the same as Isagi, removing the top 6. In this match, no one stands out, including Chigiri. To the top 6, they are just pawns that can be replaced. But if they try to force their presence, they are used as bait. However, Chigiri doesn't have to worry about the circumstances. He will focus on what he can do. The game resumes, and Karasu challenges the number 2 to take the ball from him. Meanwhile, Chigiri will try to position himself between them. He won't receive any passes if he isn't faster than Otoya. Chigiri won't go to the center, where everyone is. He will sprint down the right flank. Chigiri faces Isagi. Chigiri's legs roar as he runs through an open space. Isagi, seeing Chigiri's flash of speed, thinks about taking him down if necessary, but it's already too late. Chigiri has reached his maximum speed. In the blink of an eye, he leaves Isagi behind, surpassing him with overwhelming and humiliating speed. With a challenging look, Chigiri tells Karasu to watch him, and provocatively asks if he isn't interested in his legs. Karasu, noticing the redhead, says he loves it. Karasu gives him an opportunity and the pass reaches Chigiri. Instantly, he sees that the ninja is perfectly positioned. Without thinking, Chigiri sends the ball to Otoya, who shoots straight at the goal. The score is 2-3. Chigiri shouts in excitement, finally feeling that he has stood out in the key play of the match. Isagi thinks that Chigiri offered himself as an alternative option to the attack they had already planned, and with that, he managed to make everyone recognize his presence. Otoya tells him that he did a great job, and Karasu comments that he is very useful. Isagi states that reclamation and coexistence is the only way to survive for those who are not among the top 6. The match resumes. Rin passes to Hiyori, which annoys Isagi, as he isn't even considering using him in the play. Isagi observes how Hiyori scans the field and calmly returns the pass to Rin, trying to get into the game by any means. Isagi decides to move to a position where he can take a direct shot and wait for his opportunity in front of the goal. But Karasu warns the mediocre not to rush too much. Seeing this, Isagi uses his off-the-ball play, but even so, Karasu sees it coming and blocks him. Isagi, however, does not plan to give up. Hiyori sends a pass in front of the goal. Isagi notices something strange. It's not another pass for Rin, but for Shido. Rin and Shido collide, both losing the ball. The B team takes advantage to counterattack. Karasu comments that that duo is made up of 2 clowns, but he will finish the joke. Karasu shoots and scores another goal, making the score 2-4. The B team is just 1 goal away from victory. Isagi wonders why they collided. Rin always finds the optimal option by analyzing the entire field, while Shido moves on instinct, searching for the best. Isagi questions how they reach the same conclusion through such different paths, but those paths don't connect. Shido and Rin argue, both insisting that the ball was theirs. Isagi reflects on whether their compatibility is terrible, but then he analyzes more deeply and deduces that that very discordance could be the key where he can intervene. Nanase tells Rin and Shido to stop fighting. Isagi says that those two only play to score goals for themselves. That's why they've made it this far. He wonders if they'll be able to coexist on the same team. Shido tells Rin that if he does that again, he swears he'll kill him. Meanwhile, Rin tells him to use his antennae before getting in the way, calling him pathetic. They're like oil and water. Isagi then thinks that perhaps his way of contributing to the team could be by making Rin and Shido work together. If they concede another goal, the match is over. Isagi needs to prove himself if he wants to show his worth. The game resumes. Rin and Hiyori attempt a 1-2 pass again, but quickly, Otoya blocks Rin, saying it won't work a second time. Otoya challenges Hiyori to pass the ball if he can. Otoya has complicated Hiyori's play. Isagi runs behind Otoya and Rin, telling Hiyori to use him. But Karasu, the crow, says to the mediocre player that he's running to a good spot. However, he won't let him escape. Isagi thinks that Karasu is very annoying. It's a life-or-death situation on the field. If Isagi doesn't find a way to shake off Karasu, his chances will drastically diminish. But wait, Nanase seizes an opening and speeds past Karasu. Isagi still doesn't quite understand how Nanase appeared in the exact spot, but Nanase has a gut feeling. He senses that both Rin and Shido move like true geniuses. Their level is nearly impossible for him to decipher. However, what Isagi does makes more sense for his own style. Isagi starts to see the strategy unfolding. Nanase has been reading his movements while supporting Rin, positioning himself near Isagi in the area without the ball. It's a great move for Nanase, earning praise from Isagi for his smart play. Then, Hiyori, seeing Nanase's effort, sends him a direct pass. The strategy becomes clear. Nanase has fully captured Karasu's attention, so Isagi is going to take advantage. He makes a diagonal run into Karasu's blind spot, aiming to break through the defensive lines. Karasu, however, notices the movement and begins marking him, so Isagi makes a sudden switch. He decides to go the other way. The defense is thrown off balance. With precision and vision, Nanase sends a direct pass to Isagi, who prepares to pierce the defense and open up the path to the goal. Isagi is in a tricky position. He's far from the goal, and Chigiri, like lightning, takes up the space right in the middle. But Rin, always ready and focused, is waiting for the perfect pass. Isagi knows, if Rin receives the ball, he could seal the final goal. The problem is that Otoya is in the way, marking like a shadow. At that moment, Shido approaches and demands the ball. Isagi quickly assesses the situation. Shido is facing away from the goal, which at first glance would seem ineffective, but he understands Shido's plan. Using himself as a pivot, the strategy is to make a quick pass back, giving Isagi the open space. No more Chigiri between him and the goal. It's a combined attack where every move counts. With that constant smile of his, Shido throws out a nice assist, Isagi Yoichi, as if it were just another play. But he doesn't stop there. In a single motion, he positions himself, spins with unstoppable force, and prepares to shoot from where he is. The score remains at 3-4. A powerful cross, followed by a spin with monstrous speed and effect. Shido's accuracy is such that there's no doubt. From any point in the box, Shido is practically invincible. And with that confidence, Shido just smiles and declares, "I'm the best in the box." Isagi was foolish to assume he'd pass the ball back. Nanase also says that Shido is a monster, but Isagi says that it was thanks to Nanase being nearby. He gave them more options, and that's what led to their goal. Nanase congratulates Isagi, as he now has an assist. Nanase tells Isagi he can only keep up with him. He tells Isagi to use him as he sees fit. But thanks to this play, Isagi is on the verge of discovering a new way. He's starting to get into the game. The game resumes, and Isagi says that now he just has to score his goal. Karasu thinks that Isagi has started to become useful. He's very annoying. Karasu decides to shake off the mediocre player again to end this. Rin intervenes in their duel, telling Isagi that he can't handle him. Rin asks Karasu if he only picks on the weak and challenges him to face him. Karasu says he hates people who think they're giants, telling the clown that he'll report him for harassment. Isagi says that neither of them is even noticing him. Karasu starts dribbling, moving from one side to the other. He tries to use his hand to catch Rin, but Rin raises his elbow. Karasu notes that Rin raised his elbow at just the right moment to throw him off. But Karasu expected nothing less from Itoshi Rin, so he decides to abandon dribbling and make a pass. Before Karasu can think of a strategy, Isagi steals the ball from his blind spot. Nanase tells Isagi he did a good job. Isagi sends the pass to Hiyori, saying that Nanase and Hiyori are synced up with him. They'll counterattack. Hiyori quickly returns the pass to Isagi, but Otoya swiftly moves back to block Isagi's path. Isagi then passes to Nanase, who's ready to offer support. Nanase follows and covers him, and Hiyori orchestrates the play with his good judgment, passing before the others can catch up. These three will blow through the center. If Nanase moves to the flank, Hiyori will be left open. Chigiri tells the blue-haired player not to look forward. Before Chigiri can get close, Hiyori will look for someone to pass to for either a shot or another pass. Shido is in position, saying there's a reserved seat in front of the goal. Shido moves closer to Hiyori to receive the ball, and an opening will appear behind him for an instant. From there, Isagi can overtake Shido. It will be his personal shooting point. Hiyori realizes what Isagi is doing and sends him the pass. Isagi and Hiyori envision the same thing. Hiyori is incredible. The final piece. It has to be in this exact spot. But Isagi couldn't reach the ball. He was one step short. He had seen it, understood it, but his physical limitations held him back. Otoya clears the ball as Rin and Karasu fight for possession. Isagi thinks that Rin will win. That last step Isagi lacked. Rin will be able to make it. Rin shoots and scores, tying the score at 4-4. Karasu tells Rin that he shot while leaning forward, dragging his body with him. He thought it through well. Rin tells the Crow that he talks too much. Since the mediocre player started playing, they've become a new team. Karasu hates it. Isagi says they were able to show what they could do alongside Rin and Shido, coexisting on the same team. But it's not because he wants to play. It's because he wants to surpass the top 6, just as Ego said. To them, the top 6 aren't teammates. Hiyori tells Isagi he did very well. He had no choice but to send that pass there. Isagi says that pass was perfect, but his physical abilities kept him from reaching it. Even though his mind understood it, his body couldn't keep up. Hiyori tells Isagi that if he moves slowly after thinking, he'll be late. Observe, think, move. That may have worked for Isagi until now, but if he wants to score a goal before Rin or Shido, things are different. Isagi doesn't have the same physique. Even if he visualizes his game speed, he'll be left behind. Isagi asks what he means by that. Hiyori tells him to act on instinct. It will change how he perceives the world. The match resumes, and Karasu takes the ball, ready to advance. Nanase, resolute, declares his challenge. The one who scores next will win. Karasu throws an annoyed look at Rin and says bluntly, "I'm sick of you." He and Otoya then execute a quick 1-2 pass, evading Rin. Isagi tries to intervene, but Karasu is unfazed, saying, "You did it wrong, mediocre. I just wanted you to leave an opening." Without wasting time, Karasu sends the pass to the red-haired player, and Chigiri, like a bullet, starts sprinting at full speed, advancing down the right wing. The play seems to be his, but suddenly, Shido appears with a spectacular leap, intercepting the pass in mid-air. With his characteristic smile, he shouts, "The main star has arrived." Isagi watches the play and ignites. Now he has one goal in mind, to be the one to score the next decisive goal. Nanase manages to recover the ball that Shido intercepted with his high jump and sends it to Isagi. Isagi thinks this is the final play. Even though he envisions himself surpassing Rin and Shido with his current physical abilities, he can't reach their level. Isagi remembers what Hiyori told him and tries to act on reflex, but he wonders how to think on reflex. When Isagi foresees something, he looks, thinks, then moves. That's his weapon. As he receives the pass from Hiyori, Isagi feels the pressure of everything at stake. Is it even possible to move like that? On pure reflex? He wonders. But he barely has time to think because Karasu appears, throwing him a biting warning. Don't get too excited, mediocre. I'll take care of you. Isagi responds instantly, acknowledging honestly, Karasu, you always show up at the worst place. At that moment, Rin joins the play, asking Isagi for the ball with unwavering confidence. It's clear. Rin, Isagi, and Nanase form a triangle on the field, enough to surpass Karasu and Otoya's defense. The strategy kicks in immediately. Nanase passes to Rin, who immediately returns the ball to Isagi, ordering, pick up the pace. The three move forward with a sequence of quick, tight passes, maintaining perfect control. Behind them, Hiyori positions himself in a key spot, ready to cut in from the left and deliver a lethal blow. However, Chigiri blocks his path. Chigiri tells the blue-haired player that he won't pass so easily. Hiyori prepares to send a cross, and the race toward the goal begins. Rin and Shido are already in motion, ready to dominate the scramble in front of the goal. Whoever takes control in this situation will score the goal. Isagi knows that if he follows them, he won't make it in time. He has to get ahead, but where? Behind Shido? Into Rin's blind spot? Frustration fills him. How has he not seen the answer? Then, in an outburst of inner fury, his instinct screams, don't think. Move by pure instinct. Trust your skills, your nerves, your senses. React in the moment. Hiyori's pass reaches the area, a perfect ball full of possibilities. Rin and Shido, like two predators, prepare to score their goal, but suddenly a leg slides in between them. It's Isagi, arriving at the precise instant. Rin and Shido barely have time to react, incredulous. What is Isagi doing there? Without a second to lose, Isagi shoots directly at the goal. The ball crosses the line, and the scoreboard changes, 5-4, and Team A takes the victory. Nanase jumps on top of Isagi, asking how he scored that goal. Isagi says he doesn't know. He only knows that he just moved on reflex like Hiyori said. Shido tells Isagi that he did very well, noting that his cells are sparking. He thinks he's going to like his explosions. Rin says that not even Isagi knows how he did it. He took it purely by luck. Rin says that Isagi makes him nervous. Isagi doesn't know how he did it, but he surpassed Rin and Shido. Ego comments that Isagi was absorbed in a challenging concentration, a flow state. He placed a foot in the mechanism that creates miracles. On the other side, we're at the drawing lots, and the third member of Team C is Mikage Reo. Reo says that he finally gets to compete alongside Nagi again. Yukimiya tells Nagi that now it's their turn to play, and Nagi replies, yeah, it's time to play. Reo Mikage is a young man whose life seems marked by perfection. With outstanding grades, he excels in everything he does, from basketball, where he shines with his talent, to music, where he plays instruments with mastery. Until now, Reo has managed to get everything he's wanted, but deep down, he knows there are things in this world that may be beyond his reach. Finally, the moment he's been waiting for has arrived, to play alongside his friend Nagi once again. With determination, Reo tells him, don't lose sight of me, Nagi. All right, Nagi responds confidently. Isagi and Nanase are watching the replay of the match. Isagi explains how he scored his goal. First, he distracted Karasu, then changed direction and slipped into Otoya and Rin's blind spots. Nanase asks if he felt all of that in the moment, to which Isagi replies that he was reacting as he moved. Hiyori joins the conversation, mentioning that he didn't expect Isagi to score, commenting that he thought the cross would reach Rin or Shido. Isagi asks Hiyori why he suggested thinking reflexively. Hiyori responds that the game is like Tetris. At first, you carefully think about how to place the pieces, but then the pace picks up, and there's no time to think. Playing at that speed to keep up with Rin and Shido is complicated, and now Isagi and Nanase understand that. How are the pieces stacked? Which pieces do you have reserved? What shape is the next piece? You take in that information, think about it, and act. Skilled gamers can process all that at high speed, pressing the best button combinations by reflex. The same goes for soccer. Isagi now realizes that if he had played as usual, he would have been too slow. Thanks to his focus, he was able to process what was happening on the field and get himself into position to shoot. Nanase points out that this isn't a new skill, but rather an upgrade, like the transition from 4 GB to 5 GB in cell phones. Isagi realizes that everything aligned for him in the match. He thanks Hiyori and Nanase, who also reflect on their own experiences. Nanase praises Hiyori for his performance, and Hiyori, being modest, says that everyone did their best. Isagi nods with conviction, having no regrets about his performance on the field. Satisfied, Nanase also acknowledges that he gave his all, and now they just have to wait for the results. Before ending the conversation, he congratulates Hiyori and Isagi for their teamwork. Isagi reflects on a new sensation he experienced during the match, an intuitive skill he hasn't yet mastered, but he believes that if he can reproduce it, his potential will grow. This thought gives him renewed determination to face the next challenge. The second match is about to begin. Team A, made up of the second-ranked players, will face Team C, composed of the first-ranked players. The match begins. Reo feels he has improved since Nagi chose other players, but he's still behind him. Reo is determined to prove that he's the only one who should be by Nagi's side. Igaguri notices that Reo is faster now, while Aryu declares that the number 10 is his. Reo can anticipate Nagi's movements and the type of pass he wants. Nagi mentions it's a good pass, but the tallest youth player, Ishikari, intercepts the ball, warning Nagi not to get too confident as the pass was low. The ball falls at Itoshi Rin's feet. Shido tells Rin it's time for the counterattack and asks him to pass the ball, but Rin ignores him, which angers Shido. Igaguri tells Rin to use him, noting that people call him a useless monk. He feels excited because the pass came from the top-ranked player in Blue Lock, and he thinks of making a great counterattack alongside number 1. However, Reo blocks Igaguri's advance, warning him that he'll turn him into a useless monk. Igaguri realizes Reo won't make it easy for him. The goal is far away, and he's at a crossroads. He needs to make an assist, but he wonders to whom he should pass the ball and which genius he should follow. It's a crucial moment that could define his destiny. Amid the uncertainty, Shido, filled with rage, yells at Igaguri, questioning if he really wants him to smash his head in. Frightened, Igaguri reacts involuntarily and passes the ball to Shido. Shido, calling Gagamaru top knot, positions himself behind him. Gagamaru, alert, wonders if the antennae guy can get behind him but manages to intercept the pass with a perfect stretch, impressing Shido. Igaguri asks Gagamaru not to get in their way, and the ball reaches number 5, Kenyu Yukimiya. Determined, Yukimiya charges toward Rin Itoshi. With great skill, he performs a dazzling dribble and leaves Rin behind with ease. Reo, astonished, remarks that it was an outside step over, highlighting Yukimiya's explosive speed, as if he's treating the number 1 like a child. Yukimiya confidently states, "Football is played one-on-one, basically. And in those duels, I know there's no one better than me on this field." Impressed, Shido challenges him to try that against him. Despite appearances, Yukimiya's speed and physique are his key strengths, while Bachira outdoes his opponents with technique and creativity. Yukimiya also taunts Shido, leaving him behind with his speed and dribbling skills. This guy is forging his path with strength and speed. This is Kenyu Yukimiya, number 5, Emperor of One-on-Ones. Igaguri and Ishikari block Yukimiya's advance. Yukimiya has no intention of using Reo's flank. Everything will be resolved if he scores. Reo says Yukimiya is going for a mid-range shot, but there's nowhere for him to send it. Yukimiya shoots and says he's a pacifist. The ball appears to be going out, but it has a strange trajectory, dipping and curving, a spinning shot. Aryu arrives in time to stop the shot. Yukimiya didn't realize there was another player nearby. But surprisingly, Nagi appears and controls Yukimiya's shot, commenting that the ball is quite heavy. Seeing that the number 6 controlled the ball, Yukimiya says he did a good job. Nagi scores, putting Team C in the lead with a score of 1-0. Reo thinks the best players are playing at an exaggerated level. This is no longer the Nagi he once knew. Nagi apologizes to Yukimiya for stealing the goal, and Reo acknowledges that even he wouldn't have been able to make such a powerful and precise shot. On the field, players aren't just coordinating. They're also improving each other by giving their best. Yukimiya praises Nagi's control, and Nagi, in turn, tells Yukimiya he made a good shot. Yukimiya tells Nagi he can call him Yuki. Reo's level is no longer enough to satisfy Nagi, who is enjoying playing soccer more than ever. Reo realizes Nagi has changed and is no longer the bored guy who simply received his passes. As the game resumes, Shido declares it's time for a counterattack and passes the ball to Rin. He begins dribbling against Reo, who is astonished to notice that the top 6 players are on a completely different level. Each one has incredible abilities that go beyond 100%, reaching areas that normal people can't access no matter how hard they try. And then there's Reo, a more balanced player. No matter how much he improves his plays, he can only reach 99% at most with his current abilities. He wonders how he'll ever be able to face these top 6. Rin leaves him behind with a dribble and passes the ball to Ishikari, who then passes it to Ryu. Ryu mentions that they are two towers in a coalition government. Ryo feels he's out of his depth against the chemical reaction of these monsters. Rin shoots and scores, tying the game at 1-1. Shido reprimands Rin for playing in a way that excludes him, but Rin responds that he's merely optimizing the field. Ryo reflects on the character of the top players, describing them as hopeless fools. Nagi also feels frustrated by the level of his opponents and challenges them to try again. Ryo says that intensity is what makes them shine. Despite the possibility of losing and being sent home, he is determined to continue pursuing his dream. In a flashback, Ryo recalls a conversation with his parents, who told him he couldn't become a soccer player and should focus on a conventional career path. Go to a good university and be a good businessman. Forget it, Ryo. You were born to surpass me. Only a select few can be football players, and you won't be able to be one. We say this for your own good. Ryo with a smile says that it's ridiculous. Going back there means returning to a life of boredom. What I want is here. It's only here. If my dream is going to be shattered and fade away, I'll discard everything, and I'll become an idiot. Determined, Yukimiya begins dribbling and leaves Igaguri behind. However, Rin steals the ball from him, asking if he's struggling with a 2-on-1. Yukimiya responds that he's rather uncharismatic. And finally, Ryo receives the ball. Ryo realizes that although his skill is capped at 99%, his talent for executing any move with finesse is something he should be proud of and rely on. Ryu says he will make a pass to the area with the ace of control. Ryo is no longer an apprentice. He has mastered everything he can. He prepares to face his opponents with all his might. Nagi expects Ryo to pass him the ball, but Ryo decides to shoot instead. Ryo says, "I won't pass it to you, Nagi. Just as you're changing in blue lock, I'll adopt any color that suits me." Ryo takes a shot at the goal, surprising Ryu, who thinks the ball will go out. But he realizes the ball's trajectory is the same as Yukimiya's, a spinning shot with an overwhelming curve that enters the goal. And the blue lock man is unable to stop it. The score becomes 2-1, with Team C taking the lead. This is Ryo's new style of play, the chameleon. Isagi, watching the match, comments that Ryo scored using his ability to copy and capitalize on his finesse. This is the answer Ryo Mikage has found to survive in blue lock. Nanase states that Ryo will be unbeatable because he can copy moves, but Hiyori counters that this isn't true, as it's still just a copy. No matter how well he mimics a move, he can only reproduce it at 99%. Against a 100% original technique or higher, he won't be able to surpass it. Isagi reflects that even if Ryo copies a move, it will always be inferior to the original. Additionally, speed and height are attributes he can't copy. Isagi doesn't know how to solve this challenge, meaning Ryo's copying skill is still in development. At the end of the match, the score is 5-3, with Team A winning the game. Ryo thinks he's still not at the level to surpass the top 6, but he now understands the path he must follow to evolve. Although they lost, Nagi tells Ryo that he scored a great goal and likes how he copies other players' skills, which is very characteristic of him. Ryo replies that it's not enough, and it's not the kind of soccer Nagi should be playing. Ryo asks him to underestimate him and wait, promising that he will become someone impossible to ignore. Nagi nods and leaves, while Ryo decides that he will achieve his goal at any cost. Elsewhere, Itoshi Sai arrives at the Japan Football Union meeting, where Hiroshi and Seiji thank him for attending. Sai asks his manager who the president and manager are, and upon finding out, he comments that it simplifies things. After watching a video of the U20 team, Itoshi Sai summarizes it as garbage, especially the forwards, whom he considers ineffective. He accepted the offer to play against Blue Lock, but if they play like a high school team, he won't do it. Before leaving, Hiroshi tells him that if he doesn't like the forwards, they can get him one. Sai, upon hearing this, then mentions that he wants to team up with a fool from Blue Lock. The A team won all their matches, with goals from Baro and Bachira. In the final match, Rin and Shido fight for the ball, and although Shido tries to stop Rin, Rin manages to score the winning goal. After the match, Rin and Shido get into a physical fight, but Ego stops the fight by electrocuting Shido. Ego announces that the trials are over, and that he will reveal the lineup against Japan's U20 in 6 hours. While reviewing his tablet, Henri asks if he has made a decision, to which Ego responds affirmatively, mentioning that some talents need to be discarded to win. At that moment, Ego receives an important call from Buratsuda. "We're with the Blue Lock boys, gathered and waiting for the announcement of the lineup for the match against the U20. Shido must stay in the punishment room." Isagi thinks that besides the top 6, he, Bachira, Baro, and Ryo have scored goals. If they use that criterion, Isagi has a chance. He wants to be chosen to fight on a field where he can change his destiny. The waiting time ends, and Ego appears in person. greeting his rough diamonds. It's the second time they meet in person. Ego redefines this. Football is a sport where goals are scored. Goals are the only existential value. That's why he built a team around the egotist with the highest average goals. He will announce the 11 players who will face Japan's U20. First, as the striker, Itoshi Rin. He has the highest average of goals, 2.5 per match. The team will use a super offensive formation centered around him. If they score 5, Rin will score 6 and win. Destruction creates destruction. As the spearhead, he will personify the team's philosophy, and the other 10 players will be the bullets that support him in destroying. First, the goalkeeper, Gagamaru Gin, with explosive reactions and springs in his whole body. He scored the highest points in goalkeeper aptitude. He will be the team's guardian. Gagamaru agrees with Ego's criteria. Next, central defenders, Jubei Ryu and Iko Niko. The right-footed will overwhelm opponents with his height and wingspan. The left-footed is smart and knows how to roll the ball and interpret the field. The fullbacks will use speed to advance up the field. On the right, Hyoma Chigiri, and on the left, Meguru Bachira. Bachira says he will still try to score goals from any position he plays. The next is the defensive pivot that will connect defense with attack, Tabito Karasu. He retains the ball best in blue lock, and his analytical ability allows him to see opportunities, so he will be the nucleus. Karasu knew Ego would say that. Now, the attackers, breaking defensive walls from the wings. Eita Otoya, Kenyu Yukamiya. The right winger has speed and stealth to get between the defense, and the left winger is a one-on-one ace, and the two players who will be the nucleus of the attack. First, a super talented player who scores amazing goals thanks to his great control, Sei Shironagi. He scored the most goals while aligning with Rin Itoshi, meeting the affirmation and coexistence requirement while having the talent to subjugate and score himself. The last piece is Isagi Yoichi. That's it. This is the Blue Lock 11 that will face Japan's U20. Isagi finally made it. He was chosen. He's part of the Blue Lock 11, while others feel frustrated for not being part of the starting lineup. Baro is angry because he was not chosen. Yukimiya asks Ego why Shido is not in the team. He scored many goals and is the number 2. Ego agrees with Yukimiya. Ryusei Shido had an average of 2 goals per match, but those goals were a result of his own skill. In the trials, he didn't create any chemical reaction with Rin Itoshi, and if expelled for violent behavior, it would leave them at a disadvantage. For these reasons, it was determined that he should not play with Rin Itoshi. Additionally, none of them can handle an egotist like Ryusei Shido, someone who uses his reasoning and goals to improve the level. Blue Lock doesn't have that kind of talent. Igarashi doesn't think anyone in Japan can handle someone like that, but Yukimiya says it would be a shame not to use his talent. Ego says Ryusei Shido will be the wild card to replace Rin Itoshi, or at least that was the plan. Yukimiya asks what changed. Ego responds that a few hours ago, he received a call from Buratsuda, from the Japanese Football Union. If they don't meet Sayatoshi's demand, he will refuse to play the match. And if Sayatoshi doesn't play, the match will be cancelled because no tickets will be sold. Blue Lock will naturally die. His exact words. 3 hours ago, we see Shido tied up in the punishment room. Shido tells Ego to let him out and promises not to hit anyone else. Shido gets angry and shouts, telling Damn Lock off that he'll kill him. The door of the punishment room opens and the person entering is Itoshi Sai. Sai greets Shido, calling him a little devil, and says the cell must be too small for him. He wants to free him and unleash his ego and anger. Shido smiles hearing Sai's words. The condition was to add a player of his choice from Blue Lock, and Sayatoshi chose Ryusei Shido over the others. Ego says they have 15 days left and will give them a training program to guarantee victory. From now on, failure will not be tolerated. Rin tells Four Eyes, Ego, that he's too soft. For Rin, this match is just another step to becoming the world's best striker. Bachira agrees with Rin, stating he bet his life when he came here. Karasu says that's not enough to scare him. The other Blue Lock boys are excited and eager to play against them. Ego tells the Blue Lock 11 that's the Ego he wanted to see. Isagi says his goal is not just to make the starting lineup. Blue Lock will win the match and go beyond to the world stage. The final training camp is about to begin. On the other side, in the U20 Training Center's meeting room, the manager says the match will be in 2 weeks, and Sae Itoshi, the U20 striker, will join the team for the first time. Sendo Shuto thinks Sae is an arrogant snob, but Sae isn't interested in them at all. He says such an opportunity won't happen again in their sad careers, and tells them not to bother him. Sendo, trying to assert his value, tells Itoshi Sae not to underestimate him, reminding him that while Sae is talked about abroad, it's only at the junior level, whereas he plays in the first division and is a regular starter. Sae nonchalantly responds that it doesn't matter. According to him, Sendo will compete to be Japan's top scorer, play for the national team, earn 50 million yen a year, marry a model and be happy. But that's as far as his football career will go. Itoshi Sae's sole objective is to become the world's best, claiming Sendo's ambitions can't compare to his. Before Sendo can respond, Shido warns him to watch his mouth, calling him a terrible forward and saying he doesn't understand anything if he's concerned about status. Shido says if he wins in a fight, he should be made a starter. When Sendo tries to grab Shido, Shido tells him not to insult him. Shido aims a kick at Sendo, calling it his first goal, but Aiku stops him, slamming him to the ground. Aiku tells Shido he loves that spirit, but results must be delivered on the field. He tells the little genius that he's also new here, and asks if he can earn their trust with a play, with the defenders backing him up. In Blue Lock's training, Isagi, Bachira, and Chigiri discuss the U20 team. Chigiri says their defense relies on Aiku, who has offers from Serie A. The U20 team plays in the Catenaccio style. Isagi calls it a defensive team. Chigiri agrees but notes it's an elite team of players under 20 years old, making it a tough challenge. Isagi finds Rin working out and advises him to rest to avoid injuries. Rin responds that if he gets injured, it doesn't matter since he's waiting for the moment to face his brother, Sae Itoshi. Isagi gives Rin a bottle of water and reminds him that if he gets injured, Blue Lock will be over. Rin takes the bottle, noting it's warm. Isagi, seeing an unfamiliar expression on Rin, wants to win the match alongside him. In a Blue Lock meeting, Ego tells the players they need to wake up their brains as well as their bodies. He teaches them about flow, a state of mental absorption where activities are enjoyed and time seems to fly. To achieve flow, they must focus on daring challenges. If their skill surpasses the challenge, they'll get bored. If the challenge exceeds their skill, they'll feel anxious and fail. The key is to find a balance where the challenge matches their abilities. This state will allow them to perform exceptionally, appearing miraculous from the outside. Flow is the formula to reach this level. Daily life is filled with information and entertainment, making it hard to concentrate. People fall into passive trances with their phones, but in Blue Lock, players must find their ego through football. This ego is reflected in the joy of achieving personal goals. Ego reminds the players to recall how they've evolved and that only those who fully immerse themselves in football will survive. Isagi understands that his challenge is one he can fully concentrate on. To beat the U20, the team must achieve the state of flow. Ego says they are the new generation that will change Japanese football, and the world awaits their goals. Isagi seeks his unique goal, one that will be entirely his. Itoshi Sae is walking down a hallway when Oliver stops him, informing him that their star, Sendo and Shido, have fought again, showing that they really don't get along. Sae replies that he doesn't care and suggests they should kick that garbage of a star off the team. Aiku intervenes, telling him that even though Sae sees Sendo as garbage, to the team, he's their star. Many players even threaten not to play if Sendo is excluded, which would cancel the match due to a boycott. Aiku asks if Sae will reconsider his stance, but Sae asks if that's a threat. Aiku responds that it's not his intention to threaten him. He simply wants to avoid the match's cancellation. Aiku mentions that, as the team's panda, the one who draws the crowd, he's trying to be reasonable. He then suggests that Sae play without Shido, stating that for someone with his talent, that should be easy. Sae asks if that's the general opinion of the team, or a message from the UJF veterans. Aiku responds that it's 99% his own selfish desire to see what Sae can do for the team, and 1% his duty as captain, clarifying that he's not one to flatter superficially. Intrigued, Sae says Aiku is a selfish captain, but he finds the proposal interesting, so he accepts the challenge. Aiku concludes that Sae is more understanding than he thought, but Sae, as he leaves, makes it clear that he shouldn't be mistaken. He will be the one testing them, and if they can't keep up, he'll walk out of the match. Aiku responds that that's fine, whatever the genius prefers. We're at Blue Lock, and Isagi reflects that that day was strangely quiet. What mattered was what he had to do. The where and the who didn't matter. The past 15 days of training helped him see it that way, especially because they trained with a strong sense of purpose. He wonders how they could focus on a challenge that would ignite a fire in their lives. Outside Blue Lock, some people start to notice there will be a soccer match. They wonder what Blue Lock is, but do know that the generation of miracles from the U20 team will be playing, along with Sae Itoshi. Aiku is resting after training in the park and sees on his phone that Blue Lock is in the news. Then we see a flashback of Aiku as a child. He would ask his coaches to please let him play soccer the way he wanted, but the coaches would say no. He had to fulfill his role, take advantage of his incredible physique, and focus on ball retention for the team. We see Scissors cutting a flower. Meanwhile, Rin is meditating and, as he meditates, remembers his past. Rin was playing with his toys, destroying them. His brother Sai asks him if he'd like to go with him. Rin replies yes, and watches his brother play soccer. Then, we see the toys are back to normal. After this flashback, we see a huge crowd at the Blue Lock Stadium. People are buying clothes, drinks, and other items. Bachira's mother has also arrived to support her son. On the stadium screens, Ego appears, talking about the Blue Lock project, catching the interest of a child in the audience. Isagi Yoichi's parents are also there, having come to watch their son in this important match. Meanwhile, they hear some fans praising the U20 team, stating that the Blue Lock players are nothing but failed young players. In the locker room, the Blue Lock team is preparing, wearing their official uniform for the first time. Chigiri comments that they'll be playing against the U20 team, and he still can't believe how far they've come. Nagi, on the other hand, says this isn't the end, but only the beginning. Ego appears and tells the players who will be on the bench, reminding them they have 3 substitutions and must be ready to enter at any time. He then shows them the opposing team's lineup. Raichi remarks that they're underestimating them by not including Shido in the team, and Hiyori suggests that it might be because he's considered incompatible too. Ego addresses his diamonds in the rough, saying the world doesn't know them yet, and asks if they don't think this is the perfect stage to make themselves known. He motivates them to change their fate in the next 90 minutes and to engrave their egos in the eyes of the world. Let's win. Blue Lock. Ego's words inspire the players, who feel motivated and ready for the match. After this, the Blue Lock players come face to face with the U20 team. Rin is face to face with Itoshi Sai, and everyone feels the thrill of the moment. Gagamaru comments to the U20 goalkeeper that this will be his first time guarding the net in a match like this. Aiku approaches Isagi Yoichi, informing him that Shido won't be playing today. He assures him that they won't let a single goal be scored and wishes the Blue Lock players luck. With all this, Blue Lock and the U20 selection enter the field, and the atmosphere is deafening. The announcer states that the whole country is watching this match, while the commentator mentions that Sai Itoshi will be one of the stars in today's game. Everyone is anxious to see this showdown, and the lineups of both teams are presented, with all eyes on Sai Itoshi. Isagi reflects on how far he's come, living an experience he could never have imagined before entering Blue Lock. He wonders how he'll play in front of such a large audience, but quickly tries to focus on himself and the battle ahead, ignoring others' opinions. Rin gives him a slap on the shoulder, and in a challenging tone calls him a coward, and asks if he's afraid. Isagi responds that what he feels is excitement. He thinks that with his goals, he could change the world. The whistle blows, and the game begins. Isagi analyzes that their main forwards are himself, Rin, and Nagi. The 3 will create the chances. Between them, they pass the ball. Everything is grounded in this triangle. In the meeting, Ego tells them that the base formation will be a 4-5-1 with Rin Itoshi at the tip. However, they have to assume it's a defensive formation. When attacking, the pivot, Tabito Karasu, will fall back and position himself between the center backs to create a back 3. Then the fullbacks will push up to compensate, forming a Nitro 3-6-1 shape with more players in the middle. It's a flexible formation for scoring from any part of the field, only possible thanks to their team of strikers, the super offensive system of Blue Lock. The defenders notice this. Before they reposition, Isagi sends the pass to the monster, who will face Hayate Haru. Bachira starts advancing at high speed, but he steps and pivots with the ball, moving at full speed. He manages to leave him behind without him reacting. The crowd is surprised. Bachira continues the play with passing options not for Nagi or Rin, but the one who can perfectly match his play and get past the defenses. Isagi Yoichi. Bachira loves his buddy. From the U20 on the field, they're going to tear him apart together, him and Isagi. Bachira passes the ball to him. Isagi thinks this will work. His style can shatter them, but suddenly, someone else is there. The U20 captain. Isagi wonders what he's doing there. Aiku, after rising, heads the ball away. Isagi can't believe it. Intuition, reaction, both. Aiku saw the players' positions, Isagi's speed, and where the ball was going. He must have seen it all and then reacted instantly. This is the U20 captain and their best defender, Oliver Aiku. Aiku tells Isagi that people compare forwards and defenders to thieves and cops, and while he's patrolling, the little thief won't be stealing any goals. Isagi loves this. He's found it. The person he wants to challenge is Oliver Aiku. He's the wall that will help him find his flow. The game resumes, and Isagi passes the ball to Rin. Isagi analyzes the situation, realizing that no matter how much they circulate the ball, as long as Aiku is patrolling, they won't be able to break through the center. They need to get behind him. The second option is to advance through the right wing, Otoya. However, he will face the defender wearing number 5, Darai Moroku. Darai remarks that the yin and yang of the field represent its two sides, the bright and the dark. There are those who stay in the light and receive the ball, and then there are the shadows lurking in the darkness, seeking lethal attacks. Otoya plans to use his skill to get past Darai, but quickly realizes that his opponent can predict all his movements. He simply can't get through. The ball returns to Isagi, who decides to shift gears. The left wing presents another option, the Emperor of One-on-One's Yukimiya. However, standing in his way is Neru Tepe. After a brief exchange of words, Yukimiya executes La Boba, a move popularized by Andres D'Alessandro. Yet, Neru manages to keep up with Yukimiya's speed, remarking that he's faster than the data suggests. Yukimiya thought he had passed him, but Neru proves to be a swift defender. Neru tells Yukimiya that he's not one of those carnivorous and aggressive defenders. He considers himself an herbivorous and agile defender. Neru matches Yukimiya's one-on-one challenge and successfully steals the ball from him. Immediately after, Nagi takes the loose ball, but he is quickly marked by a defender. This defender, Niu Kazuma, applies pressure with remarkable speed and an impressive physique, rendering Nagi unable to turn and initiate a play or even use his ball control. Niu declares that he loves being called Doberman. He is a guard dog, and his owner, Aiku, steps in to steal the ball. Isagi remarks that these defensive plays are top tier. This is the iron wall of the U-20 team. After this, Aiku surpasses Isagi and delivers a through pass to the U-20 team's offensive line. The ball is in play, and Itoshi Sai is the one to receive it. Aiku watches the play with growing interest, eager to witness the full potential of the genius in his debut. Meanwhile, Chigiri moves at full speed, keeping a keen eye on any potential counterattacks. As Bachira advances in the attack, Chigiri falls back to cover the defense, showcasing the flexibility of his gameplay. But Sai responds with a curved mid-speed pass spanning more than 50 meters. The ball reaches Cho Kento on the left flank, who immediately passes it to the right flank player, Kitsunezato Teru. Teru, in turn, returns the ball to Itoshi Sai. Karasu analyzes the situation. Sai is free in front of the box, in shooting position. This is an attack pattern that begins and ends with Sai, characteristic of the U-20 team's counterattacking Catenaccio style. Nico focuses on marking Sai, prioritizing preventing the shot and trying to buy time until Chigiri returns. The two seem to have him contained, but Sai has another move in mind. Taking advantage of a small gap between Chigiri and Nico's defensive coverage, Sai sends a lobbed pass to Sendo. Chigiri wonders how Sai can have such precise vision of the game. Sendo shoots towards the goal, but Gagamaru, with his super-reacting synapses, manages to block the shot, preventing the goal. Sai, anticipating the play, was already running toward the sideline before Gagamaru could stop the shot. From a very wide position, where an effective shot seems impossible, Sai surprises everyone. He doesn't cross the ball or pass, but takes a shot at goal. Even though Gagamaru stretches to the maximum, the shot is unstoppable and ends in a goal. The scoreboard opens 1-0 in favor of the U-20 team, thanks to Itoshi Sai. Isagi is astonished by Itoshi Sai's plays, wondering how Sai managed to strike the ball so powerfully from that angle. How many techniques did he use after that pass? He asks himself. The stadium erupts in cheers and applause following Sai's goal. The crowd is completely captivated. Isagi realizes that all eyes are on Sai, who is undeniably the star of the match, while he and the Blue Lock players are seen as the villains in this story, completely ignored. Rin, noticing the look on Isagi's face, speaks to him firmly. Don't sink. Don't focus on them. Look at me. Over the next 90 minutes, I'll turn those cheers into cries of despair. On the other hand, Sai's teammates praise him for his goal, but he rejects them and rebukes them. Sai tells them that he had 3 chances to shoot, but he decided to pass the ball to them, which was a waste of time and energy. He even insults Sendo, pointing out that he missed a chance that even a monkey could have scored. This frustrated him, so he ended up scoring himself. Aiku tries to ease the situation by saying the opposing goalkeeper did a good job, but Sai claims that the value of a striker is measured by their ability to score goals. If a striker scores fewer goals than a midfielder like him, they don't deserve to be called a striker. Aiku, somewhat surprised, tells him that's a bit harsh, and asks how many strikers there are in Japan. Sai responds that today's match will serve to find that out. Finally, Sai orders Sendo not to do it again. Aiku, trying to calm Sendo down, tells him the match has just started and asks him not to waste any more chances. From the Blue Lock side, Ryu tells Gagamaru that it was a very glamorous save. Nico tells Isagi that, because of Itoshi Sai, the U-20 has become much stronger. Isagi agrees with Nico, analyzing that they first defended with 4 men. Since they couldn't find a gap, the ball was stolen from them. Then, Sai's fast attack started. That's how Japan's U20 plays. He wonders how they can break through that wall. Henri comments that the tactics from the last training session aren't working. Ego responds that this was expected, since in training everything is simpler, without the stress of the real world. He explains that someone can train well but not be able to perform in a match due to factors like the environment, the opponents, the tension, and mental stress. The key to overcoming this is improvisation. Henri, somewhat intrigued, asks if he doesn't plan to give them instructions. Ego confidently responds that they must have faith. He assures her that their egoists will know exactly what to do when the moment of truth comes. The match resumes, and Isagi focuses. He can't see the key piece to break the defense. These enemies are strong, with potential still to be discovered, but he knows what he must do: put aside the doubts and focus on his connection with Rin. He remembers that he can't lose sight of his teammate. Between the two defenders, Rin sends shorter passes to Isagi, adjusting the rhythm of the attack. Isagi focuses only on what Rin is doing, putting aside everything else to unleash his true power. Together, the two players don't let the defenders read them, moving with precision, constantly creating new passing options. Rin, in a brilliant move, makes a backheel pass that baffles the two defenders. The ball reaches Bachira, who watches with envy the perfect coordination between Isagi and Rin. Bachira realizes that the plan was always to let Rin and Isagi advance without obstacles. Isagi sees that Nagi has locked onto the two center backs, but now it's a 3 against 2. They have the advantage. They can score the goal. It's the moment for their egos to guide them. But Bachira, with a defiant vision, changes the plan. The pass isn't for Isagi or Nagi, but for the Avenger, Itoshi Rin. Ego, from outside the field, can't help but congratulate Rin for his improvisation. This is the awakening of Blue Lock, the first step towards victory. Rin finds himself at the edge of the goal, but in an unexpected twist, he moves even further to the side, adopting an almost impossible angle to score. He will use his weaker foot. Isagi knows what Rin is about to do. He is determined to imitate his brother's goal. Rin shoots with power, but the goalkeeper touches the ball just in time, deflecting it towards the post. The play continues with Yukimiya, but Neru stops him again, not allowing him to beat him in the one-on-one. Isagi quickly understands the play. While Yukimiya prepares to face Neru, Isagi moves into his angle, altering the defender's perspective and offering a passing option. This is what they call an interference attack. With the distraction achieved, Yukimiya evades Neru and thanks Isagi. He shoots at goal, but Aiku blocks it. The play remains alive, and defender Darai goes for the rebound, but the ninja steps in, as Darai loses sight of him. Isagi watches how Otoya reacts to the rebound, just like in training. It's all thanks to Rin's selfish improvisation that created this opportunity. Now, taking advantage of the defenders being out of position, it's the perfect moment to execute what they've learned. Otoya shoots, but defender Kazuma stops it. But there's still one last chance: Nagi. The two defenders try to intercept the shot, but Nagi, with the skill of a genius, brings the ball down with precision and lifts it, spinning in the air to prepare. The two defenders are left as spectators to Nagi's impressive ability, who, determined, exclaims, "Nice to meet you, Japan. I'm Nagi Seishiro." And with a lethal shot, he scores the equalizer, 1-1 on the scoreboard. A deathly silence fills the stadium at the incredible play, and even he wonders if his entrance was appropriate. But within seconds, the crowd erupts in a frenzy of excitement. Even those who weren't at the match could see the play thanks to the live broadcast. The defenders are left in shambles, and Aiku remarks that the players of Blue Lock only think about scoring goals. When all the pieces fall into place, this will be cataclysmic. Nagi celebrates, raising his fist in triumph. After the goal scored by Nagi, the commentators wonder if the Blue Lock project is successful. They are unsure who the hero of the match will be. Henri asks Ego why the team's attacks suddenly started to work effectively, considering that just a minute ago, they were struggling. Ego explains that the play that led to the goal was the result of Itoshi Rin's improvisation, who took the initiative and triggered the whole sequence that led to success. The selection team focused on nurturing his improvisation skill. One of the improvisation skills is chemical reactions. When you pursue a goal, things don't usually go as expected. Book answers are empty theories that don't serve real life. When the strategy you had in mind fails, mediocre people get scared and look for excuses to feel better. That is the mindset of a loser. Since the goal of this match is to win, a winner doesn't lose sight of their objective. They just face the new challenge. Even if the plan fails, if you keep trying to achieve the goal, the situation turns into a new challenge. That is the mindset required to improvise. In Blue Lock, they don't need mediocre players without initiative. They want egoists who seek challenges on their own. Itoshi Rin did that before anyone else, and Isagi Yoichi reacted to it. Ego knew that Isagi Yoichi is necessary for Itoshi Rin's awakening. Isagi analyzes that anyone could have scored that goal. That's how good they are at shooting. But it was only possible because they broke the formation of the sub-20 and used their weapons just as they had practiced. And the one who gave them that opportunity was Rin, without a doubt. Those words Rin told Isagi, not to lose sight of him, helped him focus on his combination with Rin. Rin gave Isagi a new challenge. Isagi wants to cheer up Rin for the shot he missed, but Rin tells Isagi to shut up. If he missed the shot he took, then it's useless. When he was in the area with Rin after following him, he then followed his ego to let him score, telling him to keep going. Taking advantage and devouring each other has a purpose. That kind of twisted relationship is healthy for them. Their dynamic is what creates those innovative plays. They are a threat to the sub-20 team. The match resumes and it's the sub-20's turn to attack. Rin faces Sai, who tells him that it's already been half an hour of the first half, and that he hasn't even greeted him. Rin tries to take the ball from Sai, but he's having difficulties. Isagi wants to intervene in their confrontation, but Rin tells him not to interfere, as they're in a sibling fight. Sai uses his shoulder, and taking advantage of Rin's entry, he blocks and spins. Rin predicts Sai's move, and almost follows it in rhythm. However, Sai uses his hand to push away from Rin, and, while performing a crossover elastico, tells him that as long as he keeps acting like his younger brother, he'll never be able to surpass him. Before the match, Ego tells Nico that, due to his height and normal speed, he plays as a center back for his field of vision. His great ability to see the situation on the pitch makes him the best sensor in Blue Lock. Nico registers each player coordinating with Itoshi Sai, analyzing the whole swarm that's coming with Sai. He has to identify and quickly eliminate the most dangerous intruder. Sai passes the ball to Sendo, but Nico notices that the pass has spin to make it easier to control. By making Nico move out of position, they want to break his formation and reposition with a simple control. It's a brilliant trap set by Itoshi Sai. If Nico goes for it, it's over. But Nico tells Sai that he's very naive. Nico will fake that he'll fall into the trap, and just before, he suddenly stops. It will bounce off his foot, and then he'll exterminate the threat. The rebound falls to Karasu, who prepares for a counterattack. Karasu's analysis is as follows. The sub-20 defense is built in 3 phases. Phase 1, when the ball reaches the opponent, Hayate applies pressure. Phase 2, behind him is the formidable 4-man zonal defense. There are no gaps in their iron wall. If there aren't any, then Karasu will create one using his most powerful weapon in his entire arsenal, and that's Otoya. Finally, there's Phase 3. When things get tough, Aiku will provide cover. Aiku stops Otoya, but Otoya sends a pass to the fastest runner in all of Blue Lock, Chigiri Hyoma. Aiku may have the advantage when it comes to covering the entire pitch, but on the right wing, Chigiri has the goal within range. His speed will dominate everyone. Aiku cannot stop Chigiri's speed, as Chigiri sprints down the right wing at full speed, sees that Karasu positioned himself perfectly. Chigiri sends a pass to the assassin, and Karasu believes he can score from there, but to his surprise, Sai appears and blocks Karasu's shot. Sai anticipated Karasu's positioning perfectly. The rebound is collected by Itoshi Rin, but Aiku marks him, thinking that he underestimated everyone. He believed that Blue Lock was just a group of random Japanese players blindly following the coach's instructions. But he realizes that their only desire is to change their fate with their goals. They are bloodthirsty beasts. Isagi positions himself behind Aiku so he can play a wall pass with Rin, but Aiku predicts that Isagi is just a decoy. Aiku leaves his left leg open to allow a shot, while blocking Rin's right leg. With Rin's stance, Rin will be forced to shoot with his left leg, but Rin shoots at the goal with 3 fingers on his right leg. Everyone watches the trajectory of the shot. The goalkeeper is unable to stop it, and it ends in a goal. Aiku smiles, saying that the Blue Lock guys are incredible. They have new genes in the world of Japanese football. The crowd cheers with excitement for Rin's goal. Isagi is surprised by Rin's goal. This is Rin when he plays seriously. Rin tells the Blue Lock team that there are 5 minutes left, and it's time to use Plan B. Sai asks Sendo how many more times he's going to fail. The goals that aren't scored on one end are suffered on the other. They're losing because of Sendo. Sendo admits that he lost the ball, but tells Sai not to blame everything on him. Sai replies that he's not blaming him, but rather offering a legitimate criticism from someone who's been creating opportunities for him. He tells Sendo to score a goal. Then, he tells the sub-20 team that if they lose, Blue Lock will kick them out, though Sai doesn't really care. With Sai's words, The sub-20 team feels the pressure of the game and knows they have to go all out. The game resumes, and now the sub-20 sends more players forward. With Sai at the core, they use short passes to advance. They are more desperate than before. However, the Blue Lock team also changes their tactics. To maintain their advantage in these final 5 minutes, they'll leave Nagi as the forward at the top, while the rest of the team drops back to defend. This is their plan B, designed so that a team made up only of forwards can win. Nico marks Cho, who receives the ball, and Gagamaru thanks Nico's entry, as it closed the shooting angle. Thanks to that, Gagamaru can predict the shot as Nico did. Gagamaru manages to save it, but the ball stays in play. The rebound is controlled by Itoshi Sai, who, despite being surrounded by Bachira and Isagi in a sandwich, manages to rise with the ball and pass between them. Sai sends a pass toward Sendo, but Rin, who's behind him, questions in his mind if someone who calls himself the best in the world really makes passes of that quality. Immediately after, Rin clears the ball. Sai, noticing Rin's action, comments, "How annoying, little brother." And before the ball touches the ground, he shoots it with precision toward the goal. However, Ryu, declaring that it's his time to shine, manages to clear the shot. The 5 minutes come to an end, and the first half finishes. Everyone celebrates after successfully defending against the sub-20's attack. The first half ends with the Blue Lock team in the lead. Isagi's parents are happy with the performance their son has shown during the match. Also present is Bachira's mother, who supports her son from the stands. Isagi's parents and Bachira's mother meet, and she thanks them emotionally, mentioning that Isagi is playing soccer alongside her son. She comments that she has never seen Bachira so happy while playing. The parents express mutual gratitude for the support they've given one another. Later, Chigiri's mother and sister are shown watching the match. Karasu and Otoya remark that both are very beautiful. Chigiri's mother expresses that her son looks radiant, just like he did in the past, and his sister agrees, saying that, finally, Chigiri has returned to being himself. On the other hand, the manager and the special advisor are engaged in a discussion. Buratsuda tells the manager that, in soccer, the winners are the good guys, and the losers are the bad guys. He doesn't accept excuses. He orders the manager to do whatever is necessary to secure victory, as they must win to become the good guys of Japanese soccer. In sports, results are the only thing that matters. Finally, he demands that they crush the players of Blue Lock. Meanwhile, in the Blue Lock locker room, the players are celebrating the advantage they've achieved in the match. Ryu enthusiastically asks if anyone saw his glamorous clearance executed with a spinning kick. Hiyori congratulates Chigiri on his excellent runs and asks how his leg is holding up. Chigiri thanks him and assures that he can still keep running. Meanwhile, Nagi is looking for a towel, but it is Reo who hands him one, congratulating him on his goal and encouraging him to score more. Nagi confidently replies that he can keep going. At that moment, Henri and Ego enter the locker room. Ego firmly orders his rough diamonds to be quiet. He tells them to imprint the mechanics of what happened onto their brains. They had a strategy before the match started, but at first, it didn't work. The one who caused the shift was undoubtedly Itoshi Rin, supported by Isagi Yoichi. By playing closer to what they had trained for and having Isagi stick to Rin the whole time, their chances increased dramatically. Ego then asks Rin why he made that decision. Rin responds that he needed a sacrifice to break through the U-20's 4 defenders, and Isagi fit that role perfectly. Ego is satisfied with the response, pointing out that such decisions cannot be simulated in training. He then turns to Isagi and asks if he sees himself as a sacrifice. With determination, Isagi responds that he does not, as his intention is to score a goal. Ego approves, stating that this is the correct mindset they should have. Ego addresses the 11 players on the field, emphasizing that their egos have brought them to this point, making them the protagonists of this battle. However, he warns that this does not guarantee that the second half will be the same as the first. He tells them to stop celebrating and not get overconfident, as they haven't won anything yet. He insists that they should not settle and must keep attacking relentlessly. They cannot relinquish their right to be the protagonists until the match is over. Ego also clarifies that the formation will remain the same, but gives them one clear instruction for the second half: run them over. Meanwhile, Isagi reflects that the players of Blue Lock do not play to win like a traditional team. Each one fights to stand out and score their own goals. With this realization, Isagi decides that, just like Rin, he must also prove his worth in this match. In the U-20 team, there is concern about the second half, and they discuss whether to change the formation. When they ask Sai for his input, he responds indifferently, saying they can do whatever they want because he doesn't care. Then, he splashes water on his face and announces that he's leaving. The team tries to stop him, warning that without him, there will be no match, but Sai insists that he doesn't care, reminding them of the terms of his bet with Captain Aiku. If the team can't keep up with him, he'll leave the game. Sai explains that the U20 team is made up of flawed players, and that's the reality. He only agreed to play because he was interested in facing Blue Lock. Although Blue Lock is still inexperienced, he sees that they are striving for something entirely different, and that's what he wanted to confirm. Having no more reason to stay, Sai begins to walk away. Aiku stops him, pointing out that his bet was selfish. If they lose, they'll be expelled from the U20 and disappear as a team. Aiku expresses that he has never felt so hurt and frustrated, and that if Sai abandons them, they'll have no chance of winning. However, Aiku mentions that they still have one last card to play. That demon. Shido steps in, asking Sai if he doesn't think his presence alone is enough to make him stay. Sai finally relents, demanding that the demon step onto the field and unleash chaos. Rin recalls Sai's words. If he keeps acting like the younger brother, he'll never surpass him. In the past, Rin admired his brother Sai, seeing him as the best soccer player. On one occasion, while watching a match, Rin wondered if he could ever be as strong and great as Sai. During the game, Sai sent a pass, but Rin intercepted it, questioning if he too could become the best striker in the world. Rin took the shot and scored a goal. Although he apologized to Sai, his brother praised him, saying he did an incredible job and encouraging him to keep playing soccer alongside him. Sai declared that Rin could be the second best player right after him. From that moment, Rin's dream was to become a soccer player like his brother. His vision of the future was clear. Sai would be the best striker, Rin the second, and together they would win the World Cup. Rin loved playing with Sai, feeling invincible at his side. Together they would be the best in the world. One afternoon, while they were eating, Sai asked Rin what he thought about while playing. Rin replied that he only thought about scoring goals, trusting that Sai would pass him the ball if he positioned himself well. For Rin, positioning well meant placing himself in spots that dismantled the opponents. Then, Sai announced that he would be leaving for Spain to join the youth academy of Real Madrid, the best club in the world. Before departing, Sai told Rin that he would have to catch up to him, and that he must not give up while Sai was away. Rin promised to stand out in Japan, so he could also be recruited and then shine on the global stage. Determined, Rin set his sights on reaching the world stage as someone capable of competing alongside his brother. However, playing without Sai was exhausting and boring. Even so, Rin knew he had to reach his brother's level. When his teammates asked him to pass the ball, Rin thought that now that this team had lost Sai, he would make it the best in Japan in his place, turning himself into the best in Japan. On a snowy night, Rin was training when Sai returned from Spain, exhibiting a drastic change in attitude. Excited, Rin told Sai how incredible he was, mentioning how he always saw him in the news, playing for Real Madrid's youth team and scoring goals. However, Sai responded coldly, stating that there were players in Spain even better than him. He added that he had changed his dream. He no longer wanted to be a striker, but the best midfielder in the world. Confused, Rin tried to correct him, suggesting that Sai must have meant the best striker in the world. But Sai interrupted, telling him to shut up, adding that only someone who didn't understand the reality of the world would say such a thing. Rin, wounded by his brother's words, refuses to accept them and asserts that he will continue to regard Sai solely as the brother of the best striker in the world. However, at that moment, Rin no longer perceives him as the brother with whom he once shared dreams in the past. Sai then issued a challenge. If Rin could beat him in a one-on-one match, Sai would share his dream with him again. But if Sai won, their shared dreams would come to an end. Uncomfortable with the proposal, Rin said he didn't want to play under those conditions. However, Sai, emanating an intimidating aura, initiated the challenge, stating that the first to score a goal would be the winner. During the duel, Rin realized the vast gap that now separated them. Sai displayed an impressive level of skill, with movements and dribbles honed during his years in Spain. Rin couldn't keep up, and was easily outmatched, left behind without any chance to react. Sai asks Rin what he has been doing during the 4 years he was away. Finally, Sai scored the goal, ending the match. After the duel, Rin tried to justify himself, explaining that he had worked tirelessly during the 4 years Sai was away. He said he had dedicated himself to becoming the best in Japan, aiming to be recruited like his brother and serve as his replacement. Rin added that he had led his team to become the best in Japan, just as he had promised. But now, with his dreams shattered, he felt he had no reason to continue playing soccer. Sai, relentless, responded that if that were the case, Rin should quit soccer. He said Rin's excuses like being the best in Japan or his replacement made him sick. To Sai, Rin was nothing more than a nuisance, a bothersome younger brother with no value. Sai declared that he no longer needed Rin in his life. Devastated, Rin found himself in his room, deep in thought. He realized that, deep down, he had only played soccer to stay close to Sai. But to Sai, Rin had been nothing more than a tool to help him achieve his own dream. Now that Sai no longer needed him, Rin felt utterly purposeless. In a fit of rage, Rin destroyed all his trophies and tore apart a photo of him and Sai from their childhood. Consumed by anger, Rin set a new goal for himself: to kill Sai. He became determined to shatter his brother into pieces and surpass him while continuing to play soccer. The second half of the match began, with Shido standing at the center of the field in a relaxed stance, wearing a confident and satisfied expression. Ego, observing the unfolding game, stated that the formation would not change, as they had devised a plan to stop Shido. However, what truly intrigued Ego was understanding why Sai had chosen Shido and how he intended to control him, especially given that even the players from Blue Lock had struggled to handle him. Ego wondered what Sai's vision of a true egoist was. With this, the real match was about to begin. Shido tells Rin that he's unleashed, but those explosions will end now. He tells him that they're going to make it clear who will be number one between them. Isagi asks Shido to stop, but Rin responds to Shido that he's right. He wanted a barking dog to spice up his game, calling him a plague of blonde hair. Shido agrees and refers to Rin as someone who's a fan of his little brother. With Shido on the field, the dynamics of the game will change. Whoever manages to catch those changes and acts first will have the opportunity to become a hero. This match is defined by reflexes and by getting into the flow. It can't end without Isagi scoring his goal because this match belongs to him. The second half of the match begins. Nico analyzes that Shido's weapon is his ability to score from the edge of the box, so he can't take his eyes off him. The key moment will be when Shido receives the ball, and Nico plans to intercept it on the last line of defense. Suddenly he notices that Shido starts running, ignoring both formations, even freezing his own team. For Shido, football is not an 11 versus 11, but a 1 versus 21. Sai, despite the limited space, makes a precise pass to Shido. Chigiri runs to mark him, but Sendo arrives as support under Sai's orders, and together they create a wall. Sendo plays a role similar to Isagi's for Rin, something Chigiri wasn't expecting. With that move, Sendo sends a perfect lateral pass to Sai's feet, right in front of the box. Sai feints a shot, but instead makes a perfectly executed cross pass. Shido, fascinated, comments that he likes that brutality. Since his entry, the Japan U20 team has become much more offensive. However, Nico arrives in time to block the shot, using his safety zone. Still, it seems that he also committed a foul on Shido during the process. Shido, annoyed, threatens Nico, telling him he'll get payback, while Nico responds by calling him a plague and sarcastically apologizing for stepping on him. Shido tries to attack him, but Sai stops him, reminding him that he shouldn't ruin his life with a red card. Sai tells him to prove his worth with goals, and not to disappoint him again. Shido thanks Sai for the warning. Meanwhile, Isagi and Gagamaru congratulate Nico for his defense, pointing out that he was able to keep up with them. But Nico admits that he was only able to stop them by committing a foul, and that worries him. He reflects that he needs to be more attentive to predict the most dangerous points of Sai and Shido's actions, even when they don't have the ball. Sendo compliments Shido perfectly, and gets into the most annoying positions for the Blue Lock team, which delayed Nico's decision and led to the foul that earned him a yellow card. Since Shido's entry, Sendo has changed his style, becoming a disruptive factor for Blue Lock. Isagi, impressed, notices that Nico is injured. Nico assures him that he can keep playing and that he wants to stay on the field. Although he's angry for not being chosen as a forward, he understands something important after that play. Crushing forwards is the pleasure of defenders. Finally, Nico tells Isagi that since meeting him, he no longer fears change. Shido tells Sai that he wants to take the free kick. He comments that the annoying little brother, referring to Rin, is right in the middle of where he plans to send it. Sai replies that there's no clear gap to score, since they're too close, and there are too many defenders in the wall. Shido tells Sai to shut up, reminding him that he's the one who earned the foul, so he'll be the one to take the kick. Unfazed, Sai asks Shido if that's the only option he can see. He explains that he should aim right in the middle between a realistic play and his ideal play. Sai advises him not to let his inspiration stop, to imagine the best goal he could score at this moment. Shido smiles and replies that what Sai says gives him chills. At that moment, he comes up with a final technique, though he acknowledges that its difficulty level is extremely high. He asks Sai if he can keep up with him. Sai, confident, responds by asking who he thinks he's talking to, and tells the demon to dream a little. Sai promises that he'll cast a spell. Shido, excited, perceives this as an electrifying experience. Shido prepares to take the free kick, but at the last moment, he lets it pass and begins to run. This surprises everyone, while Sai gets ready to take the shot. However, Chigiri analyzes the situation and realizes that Sai also has no intention of shooting. Shido is looking to position himself in an open space, waiting for the perfect pass. Chigiri, proclaiming himself the fastest player, decides to stop Shido before he receives the ball. Sai makes the pass, but Chigiri had already predicted his move. He dives with all his strength, determined to intercept the ball. However, there's a problem. Chigiri can't reach it. Sai had placed the ball just a few centimeters beyond Chigiri's maximum speed. Sai's pass reaches the exact spot where Shido is, who is already ready. The demon rises into the air, his words echoing like an omen. "I have all the cells in place." With a sublime movement, he unleashes his devastating shot, the Dragon Drive. The force and speed of the shot are inhuman. Gagamaru, despite his super reaction, cannot react in time. The shot ends in a goal, tying the game 2-2. It's an unstoppable play, a perfect combination between Sai Itoshi, the genius, and Ryusei Shido, the unleashed demon. Shido is in a state of ecstatic emotion. Meanwhile, Sai calms him down, reminding the precocious demon that this is just a tie. On the other hand, the Blue Lock boys comment on how amazing the play was. Isagi analyzes the action and realizes that this goal was made possible thanks to the perfect combination of physical and mental reflexes. It's reflex multiplied by reflex. He acknowledges that the goal came from the superhuman work of Sai Itoshi and Ryusei Shido. Blue Lock still doesn't fully understand Shido's playing style, but Sai easily deciphered it, making a perfect pass without any effort. And for both players, this play is just the beginning. Shido, still brimming with excitement, tells Sai that he likes him and that he'll share his info with him later. Sai responds that he'll consider it if Shido manages to score a hat trick, to which Shido enthusiastically agrees. Chigiri suffers a leg strain due to a lack of energy, while Nico injures his ankle. Sai and Shido have completely changed the pace of the game, forcing Blue Lock to make substitutions to regain balance and close the match. Chigiri reflects with frustration, wondering how he could have gotten exhausted after moving so little. He realizes that the lack of practice, stemming from his past of trying to quit football and flee in Blue Lock, is taking its toll on him at this critical moment. Finally, the substitutions are made. Hiyoma Chigiri, number 4, and Ikiniko, number 3, leave the field, giving way to Reo Mikage, number 14, and Yohiori, number 16. Igo approaches Chigiri and asks if he has any problem with the substitution. Chigiri, holding back tears of frustration, replies that he doesn't. Igo tells him that, instead of crying, he should return to the field with a body capable of running until the end. That frustration represents the limit Chigiri has reached at this moment. On the other hand, Reo tells Nagi that he's finally here. Nagi, who was already expecting him, listens as Reo reminds him that they need to score one more goal. "It's too soon for our story to end here," Reo tells him, and Nagi knows that. The match resumes, with Hiyori leading the charge. It's an offensive option that the Blue Lock players have practiced thoroughly. Until now, they had been playing around Rin, leveraging their individual talents. It was dynamic. But Hiyori's strengths are his ball control and his calm vision. He is a very composed technical player who creates pauses in the game. The Blue Lock players don't expect Hiyori to shake off his marker in one-on-one duels, but rather to make passes that light the way. Hiyori mentions that Igo isn't just about showing off skills, and then makes a quick, direct pass to Karasu that the defenders can't intercept. Karasu passes the ball behind to Hiyori. Free from his marker, Hiyori prepares another pass, this time with spin, at the level of Sai's passes. The ball reaches Nagi, who quickly passes it to Isagi, positioning himself behind Rin. Isagi prepares to shoot his direct shot, but unexpectedly, Aiku stops his attempt. Isagi wonders how Aiku got there. Even though he changed his formation and Nagi's improvised pass, Isagi was the first to react, and Aiku got there first. In the territory that Aiku sees, Isagi's skills are useless. The U-20 team counters. Before Reo entered the game, Igo told him that he was put in for one reason. Reo's role is to stop Shido. Reo had been practicing defense at the training camp and had also been observing the enemy defender's skills. Reo won't take his eyes off Shido and Sai. Reo sees the pass from Sai to Shido coming. He leaps and intercepts it, successfully replicating Aiku's play 99%. This is his role in this match, chameleon defense. Nagi congratulates Reo on his play. Reo will use this power to neutralize Shido. Reo thinks about winning this match no matter what, and he will work to become a striker again. Reo sees himself as more than just a defender. Reo will win once again, and will be with Nagi. Isagi analyzes that Reo marked Shido with his chameleon defense, and Hiyori's anchor allowed the Blue Lock team's attack formation to have more variety. Since they entered, the Blue Lock players have been able to rebalance the match, and Blue Lock has taken the offense again. And Isagi manages to break through Aiku. They will not be able to build the momentum. He will find the pieces he needs to destroy Aiku. Shido tells Sai that it was a good pass, and playing soccer with Sai is a lot of fun. It's like electrical pulses running through his brain. Sai asks him what that means, to which Shido responds that he doesn't know, but it feels like the first time he's felt that someone understands his freedom. He feels like the Big Bang is approaching. Sai says that's good for him, but Shido still needs to score. Shido reflects that the world still doesn't know him. Passes, tactics. Do you win if you do this? The way to win? It's ridiculous. Soccer isn't a sport, it's a vital activity. Shido's weapon is his super spatial perception. All of his points are focused on living on the pitch and scoring goals, achieving perfection in the area. Close to the goal, he can even perceive the goal from behind. Sai sends the pass to Shido while reflecting that all the cells in his body exist to score goals. Shido is marked by Reo, telling him that he won't let him shoot. Reo is copying the under-20s Doberman defense, blocking with his body and not letting Shido turn. Shido asks Reo if he's a professional imitator. Reo replies that he's going to lose against that. He asks him if he will go from demon to a noisy brat. Shido gets enraged and shoots while telling him he's just an imitator. The shot isn't good enough, and Gagamaru stops it with one hand effortlessly. Shido analyzes that he lacks more explosions and reflects that humans live to leave our mark, to make our genes endure. It's part of the programming of all living beings. By getting close to others or hurting them, we engrave ourselves in their memory. It's the same. Creating something, aspiring to be someone important, or leaving descendants are ways to leave your mark on this world. It's just that for Shido, the way to do this is through soccer. Shido has to concentrate. For him, a goal is fertilization. Shido is the seed, and the goal is the egg. And birth, he calls it an explosion. While reflecting on all this, Sai appears to intercept Nagi's pass and performs an ultra-long pass. The Blue Lock guys take this terribly. They have to fall back. Shido is alone. Only the goalkeeper remains. But Gagamaru appears and clears the ball with his head. However, what would be the end of the play for others, for Shido, is just the beginning. Something deep awakens in him. A sensation he's never experienced before. He thinks he's too far, but he can feel the goal behind him. His football cells are in a frenzy, begging him to explode. Shido leaps, diving for the ball, determined to mark his existence. Ego watches him and says, he's entered the flow. His body arches in the air, defying gravity, and he executes a majestic bicycle kick. He calls it the Big Bang Drive. The shot is not just an attempt to score. It's a sentence, a message to the people who still don't know him. Take my goal. Take my genes. Fertilize yourselves. The ball hits the net. 3-2. The sub-20 team is winning. Ego explains that the first person to reach the flow during the match was Ryusei Shido, whose defiant concentration led him to that state. Shido celebrates the goal he scored, putting Japan's U-20 team ahead on the scoreboard. Ignoring his teammates, Shido runs directly towards Itoshi Sai to hug him, excited, and tells him that he did it. With Sai, Shido experiences a sensation he has never felt before. He wants to play soccer with Sai forever. However, Sai coldly pushes him away, throwing him to the ground, and reminds him that he must score a hat trick before celebrating. Hands off until that happens, he says. Shido accepts the challenge, and, in a playful tone, responds that if he scores 10 more goals, they could even share a house. Meanwhile, Isagi is impressed and surprised by Shido's goal. Although no one in Blue Lock could contain Shido, Sai continues challenging him with passes that are difficult to handle. It was precisely because Shido overcame those challenges that this amazing goal was born. This deeply frustrates Isagi, as he feels that he should have been the one to reach that level. Under the guidance of a genius like Sai, the demon has awakened. Shido has completely dominated this match. Although all the Blue Lock players are doing their best, at this rate, the team will lose. It's clear that the ones who will change Japanese football are not the players of Blue Lock, but Sai and Shido. On the bench, things are not looking good. Henri asks Ego what they will do, since this shouldn't be possible according to the information they have about Shido from when he was in Blue Lock. This means that Shido is awakening. If they don't do something, they will lose. However, Ego responds that he has nothing, that there's no plan beyond what they are already doing. Isagi approaches Ego, frustrated, telling him that it can't end like this. They are fighting with everything they have, just like Ego taught them, but it still isn't enough. He asks Ego how they can win. Ego calmly responds with another question. Don't you see? Blue Lock already won. Ego explains that everything has happened just as he imagined. If they lose the match, Blue Lock and its rules will disappear, and Ego will probably be expelled from the world of football. But the players won't disappear. Shido, fascinated by Itoshi Sai, will become a star of Japanese football. Itoshi Rin will enter the U20 national team at the same level. The other players will be recruited by universities and national leagues, finding places that will open paths for them. They've done enough to ensure that in the future, having been in Blue Lock will be an advantage. They transcend the ego and will change Japanese football, concludes Ego. They can be proud. Blue Lock already won. However, Isagi disagrees. Firmly, he tells Ego that he doesn't care about that. Not the future of Japanese football, nor the guaranteed opportunities for them. None of that matters. What the players of Blue Lock want is to win this match. The future doesn't matter. Losing is dying, and we won't accept death yet. Either we're the best in the world, or we're nothing. Isagi demands that Ego make them win, reminding him that this is the Ego he taught them. In response, Ego agrees, but with one condition. He will make a bet whose outcome even he doesn't know. It's your turn, Joker. Baro Shuei. Finally, Baro, who has been waiting on the bench, enters the game. Otoya is the last player substituted, and number 13, Baro Shuei, takes his place. Baro positions himself as a right winger, while Hiyori moves back. Baro, addressing Isagi, calls him useless, and tells him that, while he was watching from the bench, he concluded that his plays have been boring. Henri, worried, asks Ego if they'll be okay without a plan. Ego assures her that he had planned to use Baro from the start, and has no intention of losing this match. However, he admits that one thing was unexpected: the ego cultivated within Blue Lock. That passion has exceeded all his expectations. Ego tells Henri to watch, because the current Blue Lock is capable of creating the most critical moment in football. Meanwhile, Rin takes the initiative and firmly declares, "Forget about balancing our pathetic relationship from now on. All the forwards can rush and attack as they please." With that shared determination, the Blue Lock players are ready to win, even if it means destroying each other to achieve it. The match resumes with great anticipation. Baro's weapons are his powerful dribbling and his mid-range shot, with a range of up to 28 meters. If Baro is free inside the box and receives the ball, he has a high chance of scoring. What Isagi must do is guide Baro into that area, shadow him, and find an opportunity to score himself. Before the match, Ego told Baro that his role was to devour Isagi Yoichi. However, neither Isagi nor Rin use Baro as expected. Rin passes the ball to Hiyori, who acts as a substitute. Hiyori passes the ball to Isagi, who is more open, but Hayate tries to intercept it. Suddenly, the king, Baro, steals the ball from Isagi, considering himself Isagi's hunter. Baro's style does not follow conventional logic. He is unpredictable, which affects even the players who understand football the most. A cut with a back heel is his trademark. That's why he's a joker. His play creates chaos among both allies and enemies. Now is the time for the king to unleash that chaos. The final 30 minutes of the match cannot be predicted, not even by Ego. Baro is marked by Darai, but Isagi moves to create a wall pass with him and break free from Darai's mark. However, the king has other plans. He doesn't pass the ball. Instead, he goes down the wing, although he knows he won't be able to shoot if he keeps going that way. Instead of a pass, Baro feints and cuts inside. Darai cannot understand his movement. Baro won't pass the ball to Isagi, not even if the world turns upside down. The king shoots while thinking of devouring Isagi in the match itself. Baro's shot hits the post and bounces to Yukimiya, who reflects that Baro's presence has completely rewritten the field. Yukimiya decides to take his play to the next level. He dribbles past Neru, quickly changing direction. He still can't shoot, so he has to raise his game even further. The chaos caused by Baro allows Yukimiya to move like a street soccer player, using people as obstacles to advance. Yukimiya finally sees the best path for the shot, but Neo puts pressure on him. Despite the pressure, Yukimiya lets himself be guided by his flow to take the shot. He executes his decisive shot just in time, but it's stopped by Oliver Aiku, who, despite the spinning shot coming from the defense's blind spot, jumped to that area and dived just in case. Aiku didn't react logically this time. He defended by taking a risk. He feels incredible, as his whole body could identify the most dangerous point of the shot. Has Aiku reached the flow? Aiku has been waiting for this moment. In the past, Aiku also wanted to be a striker. Play for others, for the team. That's what the adults used to say. Aiku tells his coach that he wants to become the best striker in the world. He doesn't want to make assists. He wants to score goals. He asks his coach to let him play the way he wants. However, the coach refuses, arguing that soccer is a sport where you win as a team. If Aiku doesn't follow the rules, the coach won't let him play. The adults only water the sprouts they want to grow, but they don't allow anything outside their calculations to bloom. And by the time you realize it, all the flowers are the same. When Aiku understood this, he had already forgotten how to bloom. He confesses to his coach that, lately, he hasn't been enjoying playing. He thinks that when he goes pro, he'll earn a decent salary, marry a cute girl, and be moderately happy. Aiku has stopped believing in becoming the best striker in the world because the part of him that believed in that dream is dead. He doesn't solely blame the adults, he also blames himself for not standing firm. His life as a striker ends here. Now Aiku decides to become the best defender in the world. He thinks that coaches only mass-produce boring strikers, and he wants to destroy them as a defender. He won't play for others anymore. He will make this flower bloom for his own sake. Thanks to the players from Blue Lock, Aiku's voltage has risen. He perceives everyone's positions and their next actions. He feels it with his entire body. He has accumulated abilities to the limit. From here, Aiku can see another world. It's an unparalleled sensation. Aiku predicts Rin's movements. Observing just the right interval and space Rin needs to use his skills, he decides to hunt down that pause. He also observes Isagi, thinking that the two of them move while keeping each other in mind. If the Blue Lock project had started 3 years earlier, Aiku would probably still be aspiring to be a striker among them. But that is a different story from the one he chose. Isagi watches as Aiku holds Rin off. His reflexes and predictions have improved. This is flow. Aiku predicts Rin's movements again and steals the ball from him. He is determined to trample them and bloom on his own. Sai takes the ball and congratulates the captain on his good defense, telling him to get ready for the final credits. The U20 team immediately counterattacks. The Blue Lock players position themselves to defend with everything they have, preventing the U20 team from scoring another goal. Ryo thinks about the possibility of a counterattack, but first, he must stop the demon. Shido moves quickly, dodging Ryo's mark. He came to challenge him physically. Ryo gets frustrated because he can't copy Sai while dealing with Shido. Karasu can no longer contain Sai. Sai makes a precise pass to Shido. Ryo observes that the timing and speed are perfect. However, from this distance, coming from behind, it seems impossible for Shido to take a shot at the goal. But if Ryo underestimates Shido, he will ruin the shot. That's how Shido is. Gagamaru congratulates Ryo. Thanks to him, Shido has fewer options. In that position, Shido can only shoot to one side of the goal, either high or low. What will Shido do? Gagamaru must trust his instincts. Shido shoots, and Gagamaru stretches downwards, but the shot goes upwards. Then, Gagamaru performs an acrobatic save, preventing Shido's goal. This play is called Shachinoko Fish Kick. Ryo runs to clear the ball and send it to a corner, but he doesn't. Instead, he immediately controls the ball, lifts it with the heel, and makes a spinning jump. He knows this move better than anyone. It's his copy of Nagi Seishiro. The crowd is astonished by Blue Lock's incredible defense. The hot pass reaches Nagi, who declares that the counterattack starts now. Isagi, in his mind, prepares himself. Now that they've escaped, he is determined. This time, he will score. However, shifting from attack to defense creates gaps. In this situation, his predictions become useful. If he gets to the goal with his reflexes, he can win. He will try to find the exact point where only he can score. Baro moves behind Isagi, who perceives that Baro is trying to take the ball from him. He wonders what Baro is thinking. Defender Darai marks Baro, preventing him from moving freely around Isagi. Baro notices that Darai has quickly adjusted and is well covering him. Moreover, Aiku is alert at the last line, blocking any potential passes. Without clear routes, Baro decides to change his approach. He must take advantage of Isagi's light and search for a darkness that only he can see. A unique darkness that will lead him into the flow. Blue Lock advances towards the goal. The U20 defenders are determined to stop them. Isagi analyzes the situation. It's not the right moment yet. If he attacks now, the U20 defense could stop him. There are 3 conditions to score. 1. A place where he can use his weapon, the direct shot. 2. A precise pass to that spot. 3. Aiku not predicting Blue Lock's movements. Isagi must observe with his eyes and brain the moment when all 3 conditions are met. The goal is near, and he has to find the path to victory within the current. At that moment, Karasu joins the attack because they need more players. Now, Isagi has more pieces on the board. Karasu makes a precise pass to Isagi in the exact spot. Then, Isagi sends a long and complicated pass to Nagi, a pass that only he can control. The defenders focus on Nagi. With the ball on his back, Nagi makes a pass to the blind spot where Isagi runs, surpassing the defenders. Isagi moves forward just as he had predicted. Aiku can no longer reach him. He has all the pieces for his play, but a new player emerges who had predicted his calculations, Sai. Sai tells Isagi that he is the heart of Blue Lock and that he has a good brain, but he wasn't in Isagi's calculations. He was outside his field of vision and came directly to block the most dangerous spot. Isagi feels the frustration. That play was his best work, the culmination of all his effort. Then, Isagi recalls Ego's words. Strikers bear the responsibility and fight until the last second. Isagi does not give up and will fight to keep the play alive. He still has this moment in front of the goal. He is confident. He can do it. If he stretches his leg, he can score. Even if it's just with the tip of his toe, he must take his final step. Just as Sai realizes that Isagi is about to shoot, he pushes him, causing him to lose his balance and preventing him from taking a direct shot. Isagi is stunned. The goal is right in front of him, but he has no weapons against Sai. At that moment, another player appears, Rin. Sai wasn't the only one who predicted Isagi's play. Rin had also predicted it and ran to the spot. Isagi, in a quick move, sends the pass to Rin, but behind him is Aiku, ready to steal the ball. Aiku warns the Blue Lock players not to get their hopes up. Something so insignificant won't be enough to surpass him. But there's still someone else, with an insatiable hunger, determined to devour anything in his path. Baro Shuei. Aiku, surprised, wonders, what's Baro doing here? Wasn't he supposed to devour only Isagi? Baro, relentless, doesn't stop. He devours Isagi's light and makes it his own. Now, that light belongs to the king. With unshakable force, Baro shoots a stunning goal straight into the back of the opposing goal, unleashing an impact that makes the entire stadium tremble. The number 13 of Blue Lock rises and celebrates with the majesty of a true king, sealing the 3-3 draw of the match. The crowd, in a frenzy, roars with excitement. The Joker has once again stolen the show. Isagi asks Baro how he was able to score that goal. Baro responds that there's nothing to explain. Hunting and devouring Isagi is, and always will be, his reason for being. However, Isagi insists, saying that Baro seemed to have disappeared. He asks when exactly Baro went for the ball. Baro responds that he didn't disappear, he was erased. He explains that the defenders immediately noticed his style of play revolves around Isagi. That's why Baro decided to hunt Isagi's plays. His name all over the world. This is his story.